Loshak at? The bottles getting empty up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon, cause we be pubbing.
Okay, everyone, welcome to Pub Sports Radio. His name's Jimmy the Bag. My name's Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. We got the Super Bowl coming up. You know, I'm enjoying this time of the year. The NHL All-Star break. It's always interesting. After the All-Star break, there can be edges. If you know what you're looking for, you know what to look for. And, you know, it's a small card today, but I think there are a few bets I made on the overnight lines. We'll see what Jimmy the Bag in the comment section has to say about everything. I'm kind of rushing. Jimmy the Bag, I'm actually moving this week, so we got everything. I'm moving. We got the Super Bowl. We got college basketball in full swing. So it's all crazy. It's all chaotic, but you know, I'm handling it. I'm moving along, and yeah, it's good. I am 80% incredibly well prepared for today's show, and in a sort of unique twist, I have a bunch of overnight plays on NBA that I bet that I'm kind of liking. I feel kind of confident in, and we'll see what you have to say about it. I do have a few plays on the NBA card right now that I've already bet, and I'm liking. And that's it for the intro. Jimmy the Bag, how you doing, pal?
I am doing well. I'm I'm excited. This is a fun time of year. I'm coming off a bad week. And,
oh yeah.
I had a really fun day of horses on Saturday, and it didn't fix the week, but I made a little over 300 after 9 hours of horse racing, which is good. I enjoyed it immensely, and I needed it. I needed just to, shake off. The bad weeks will happen, shake it off, and I feel pretty excited about this card. I'm very excited about this week. We have our big NFL Super Bowl Pub Hub tonight. Peter Loshak will be on that show. I'm really excited about that. But I think I'm most excited now about San Antonio and Pubapalooza. We have another one of our cappers that has booked his flight, and that is the legend, the Big Ragu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he'll be there, and I can't wait for the other my colleagues, the cappers who've not hung with Ragu, to get a sense of this guy. Because when I say G'd up from the feet up, I mean it. This guy he's such a class act, as a capper and with his family and with us. And I can't wait for everyone to get just a sense of how fortunate we are to cap with this gentleman. And he's going to be with us throughout. He's got the same dates as me. So he's in Thursday, he's out Monday. So he's going to be part of everything. And that just puts such a huge smile on my face. So Big Ragu is the latest to book his flight for Pubapalooza. Great to see all you guys. Real Deal Prime, Viper, Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. Mine got the Nuke Worker, Dav Fen, Roxer 82, Alex Hill, Serious Business, Thieves by Law, Wine Time Sports, Danny Lopez, Paco Healy. Paco, are you going to be able to make it? You couldn't make it last trip, and you were such a big part of all our adventures as we started rolling together. I hope you can make it, Paco, my man. Markel, Mike M, Dav Fen, Dan Kelly, Jimmy Gomez. Jimmy Gomez is going to be rocking with us. Nasty Nate said my flight will be booked today. Oh, Friday. Okay, my flight will be booked Friday. LR ready to go. Osby, Justin McElvey, Slats. He's on Bolts first period -0.5. So we talk about what action we've made. I have made 4 bets, but just hockey. I had a tough week on the hardwood. I moved on 4 bets on hockey. I'm confident. I want to talk everything out in basketball here. But great to see all you guys. Nut Flush Allen in the house. Jay Peasy, Morgan Spooner ready to get to work. So great to see all of you guys. Markel says he's finally figured out his plan for the Super Bowl. So have I. And Markel will be on the opposite sides. I am going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I haven't bet it yet. I'm just sort of deciding how much at this point. And I will take the money line. I'm not going to mess around. So that's my plan. there. And look, Pete, I'm excited about capping the card with you, my friend.
Yeah, wow, you opened. That was a big can of worms that you could have just opened there, saying you're on Philly. But let's not get into it now. We'll get into it tonight, right?
We do have a question from the chat, Pete. A lot of people have been asking this, and it all revolves around you, Mr. Loshak.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be in Texas with your 10-gallon hat?
That's like 2 months away, less than 2 months away. Is humanity even going to exist in 2 months? Probably, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? No, I plan on being there. Absolutely.
All right.
But right now, I can only guarantee up until 3 p.m. tomorrow as far as what the future holds. Beyond that, I don't know.
You have a 10-gallon hat, right?
Yeah, get a 10-gallon hat, whatever the fuck it takes. Yeah, I really want to go. I would like to. I'm planning on it.
Okay.
But it's 6 weeks away. Who thinks 6 weeks ahead in the future, Jim?
I do.
I hear you, man. Oh, man. I'm moving. Everything's all crazy. We got the Super Bowl. Now you just added another thing I got to think about, which is that you're on Philly. So now I got that in my brain now. Everything's all crazy, but I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm on Philly. It's taken a long time to get here. But yeah, I'm on the Eagles.
Okay, I'll just address that for 5 seconds. All right, Jim? The good news is that right before the playoffs started, I had one futures bet Philly to win the Super Bowl. I got it at plus 550. Nice, right?
Beautiful.
That's the only bet I have right now. Capping the game, though, I think I'm liking / close to love is a strong word, but liking / close to loving at the current odds the Chiefs.
Lots of people are. Lots of people are, and there's no denying that if this game is, tied or within 3 points in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs backers have an advantage. There's no denying that in my book. But I just see too many edges for the Philadelphia Eagles for me not to put money on them. And I'm not, again, we talked about in the conference finals, and Ragu talked about, a bunch of our leaders talked about how you don't need to get out of your comfort zone gambling wise. You don't need to put a K on this. You don't need to go heavy. I do plan to put a little more than one unit, but I do also plan to have 500 to a K ready for live action. I just feel like we're really finding like 8 for 8 on that conference final Sunday. I don't feel like that is a fluke. I don't feel like that was all of us working together, watching the same game together. It's a recipe for success. Mm-hmm. And so Dav Fenn is on the Chiefs. Dan Kelly says, what's up with Super Bowl squares? I'll get more information on that, Dan. We did talk about it briefly. We have a meeting again on Wednesday for Super Bowl and for San Antonio stuff. So and Luke, my man Lucas Ryan saying, agreed, Jim, we've all been on fire with live capping. It's insane. It's if we just, and we may be focusing more on that as we move forward as a company, because when it comes down to it, we just want to make money, as much money as possible. And us working together, watching a game together has been very, very successfone. Pete, we have a ton of games to go through. We have a juicy card in all NHL, NBA, and then we got Daby Cab joining us for NCAA action. Tone Miggins on Eagles team total first half 13 minus 110 says easy money. Troy said he had 80% of his role on the Eagles in the NFC Championship. He said won't be having the Super Bowl, but I'm on the Eagles again. I think we can say that it's shaping up to be a great Super Bowl. And the only way it won't be a great Super Bowl is if the Eagles do to the Chiefs what the Buccaneers did to the Chiefs. And I legitimately don't think that's out of the equation. So I think the Eagles, the Chiefs aren't going to destroy the Eagles. I mean, Jalen Hurts could get hurt, and the Chiefs aren't going to destroy the Eagles. The only possible horrific outcome, landslide outcome, is the Eagles just, something going wrong with Mahomes and the high ankle sprain and Eagles smashing them. That's the way I see it. But we've got lots of time to talk about all of that. Leonard Porsche made his first Super Bowl bet about an hour ago, under 51 betting on defense. I've been thinking a lot about totals, and I'll have a better idea of exactly what to do after our big show tonight. But Pete, my friend, do we have excitement on ice? Are we ready to move into NHL?
Sorry, I'm just so behind. I'm glancing at the comment section. I'm just behind. I got a lot of shit to take care of here this week. All right, but you want to get into it, Jimmy the Bag, NHL?
Very much so.
All right, let's start. Let's start. Keep a brisk pace and have a lot of fun. Let's start with Colorado, Pittsburgh. Right? Ready, Jim?
Let's do it.
Obviously Colorado closed the first half on a winning run. Pittsburgh, not so much, right? Very 50-50. And then before that, had been losing, actually. Things get shook up after the All-Star break in all sports. And of course, NHL maybe more so than any other sport. Who's the better team here? I'm not sure. If you have Colorado closing on a 7-1 run and Pittsburgh closing on a mediocre / subpar run, first game after the All-Star break, my thought is obvious play. You take Pittsburgh. Would you agree with that?
I would agree to that to the extent that I won't bet Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of I can understand your thought process here. Also, you guys, I have all of the salary cap information up for each team. If anybody has any questions, I'll be talking about some of the salary cap LTIR and available room for some of these teams as we go through. But if anybody has questions, just fire away. Let's go. Colorado Avalanche 27-18-3, 14-9-0 on the road. Penguins 24-16-9, 14-6-4 at home. Georgiev has been everything I said that he would, and I thought that he was capable of being a starting goaltender for a good team in the NHL for a long time. Shout out to Real Deal Prime, member for another month. Our guy, Real Deal Prime. I love it. And I thought that it hurt him psychologically, and you want your goaltenders to be tough, but it hurt him psychologically watching Shesterkin be so much better than him. That happened, and now he's got confidence. Now he's the number one guy, and he's doing everything that I thought he was capable of. Casey DeSmith is not been playing well. Yari's still dealing with a lower body injury. I don't know if Yari, upper body injury, excuse me. Is he going to be back tonight? This is an opportunity for him to be back. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows if he's going to be back. There's Chase White in the house. Great to see you. But DeSmith has not been good. Colorado power play. So also, I'm not doing the last 10 game stats. I think the All-Star break stops that from happening. So I'm going to do year stats, and 10 games from now, we'll go back to 10 game stats. But I think the All-Star break changes a ton of momentum and everything. So on the year, Colorado 24.5% power play, penalty killing at 76.8. Pittsburgh power play 22.7, penalty killing at 81.1. Let's just take a quick look here at the line history in this one and move over there. Here we go. We have these. This was, I was even a little surprised that the Pens would be favorites, but hearing the way Pete was kind of looking at the game, it makes sense. There's been a 2-cent move on the Pens, opening up -110, now at -112. This total opened up as a pick'em. There's been a 1-cent move to the under. And actually, I was looking at Bookmaker. Sadly, not Pinnacle. I've switched back to Pinnacle. Pinnacle now is at a pick 'em -105 each side. This opened with Pittsburgh at -115, so money coming in on Colorado. The Avalanche have dealt with a lot of adversity this year in terms of injuries. Played the entire season without their captain, Gabriel Landeskog. He's out with a knee injury. He could return at the end of February or early March or halfway through March or 1st of April. We don't know yet. It's a lot of question marks around that. They're without defenseman Josh Manson and center Darren Helm. The big story with the Avalanche right now is their LTIR has been filled all year. Now they have $7 million of salary cap space. They're going to be buyers here at the deadline, and they're going to be so dangerous if they make the right moves. And you can imagine that Joe Sakic will do that. Pete mentioned 7 of 8 before the break. They're 1 point behind the Flames for the final wildcard spot and have 3 games in hand. Penguins are barely holding on to the final wildcard spot. They're tied with the Islanders, but they have 4 games in hand on the Islanders. They're a point up on the Sabres with 1 game in hand. They're a point up on the Panthers with 4 games in hand. They went into the break losers of 3 of 4. They closed out with that first half ugly 6-4 loss at home to the lowly Sharks. They have $1.35 million of salary cap space. Sidney Crosby's quietly putting together a really strong season. 60 points, 49 games. He could crack 100. Their defense and goaltending has been poor. You have to believe that Ron Hextall is going to be a buyer at the deadline. My eyes on what he's going to do. And my guy says, why has Pittsburgh got full line value? I don't even look at that anymore. But I don't have Pittsburgh with any line value whatsoever. I have just a sliver for Edmonton. So I don't have that at all. And I wouldn't give them, So my guy says Avs should smash. Could. It's very difficult out of the break. I feel like momentum stops during the break. And that's why Pete was initially on saying, is it Pittsburgh or pass? Anything, has this led you to anything after this? Because I find this a very difficult game.
Yeah, this is the one game that I think I'm going to pass on. Look how dope I look, Jim. Look at this shit. Let's make a fucking Loshak in the Bag movie, a Pub Sports Radio movie, baby. Yeah, I think this is a pass. If you gave me, I want to pull the trigger on Pittsburgh just because it's so obvious, right? It's just like a no-brainer play. It's not going to win every time, but a team that has some time. I mean, Pittsburgh's not a terrible team, right?
No, they have, Crosby and Malkin are having really good seasons. Gensel's not. I mean, he's still a point a game, but he should be better than that. And their defense leaves a lot to be desired. Jeff Petrie is not playing at that level we saw for when he looked like a Norris Trophy winner for 40 or 50 games a couple years ago for the Habs. He's not been playing well. He's been dealing with injuries. Letang had the heart issue. His father died. He's got a lot of reasons why maybe he steps up a little more here. But no, I don't trust him. Slatzy says Bowen Byram expected back for the Avs. I mean, the Gerard, Byram, both been dealing with a lot of injuries this year. Paper Chaser, M13, Avs first period -0.5. That makes me very nervous. I think Pittsburgh comes out guns a-blazing, their whole season on the line. Sullivan is going to have these guys, ratcheted up to 10 immediately. I mean, this that makes me nervous. Anybody?
Why don't you like Pittsburgh in this one? Why don't you like the Pens here?
I just don't think that they're a good hockey team. I really don't. And I can't believe I'm saying that when Crosby's having the season that he's having. I think their defense is weak. I think Casey DeSmith is not to be trusted under any circumstances. The last thing I want to do is have money on a hockey team that has Casey DeSmith in goal. I just can't take that. I won't be able to watch anytime the puck's in the zone. Any odd man rush for the Avalanche, I won't be able to watch. He's a sieve. He's an absolute sieve. There's my guy Luis from Costa Rica.
Oh,
yeah, Luis in the house. What up, Luis?
What about over in first period over?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Avs are still playing sort of a. I don't really think they stopped playing the defensive style even when McKinnon came back. And I think it's just something that Bednar sort of ingrained into the group right now, just saying, look, we are not the team we were last year, and we have to win through defense. Mike M says Avs in the under spot. I think I don't know what Pittsburgh used to cash me unders all the time, and now they don't because you can't trust their goaltending. So,
all right, this is why we don't keep a brisk pace, Jimmy the Bag, because we spend a lot of time talking about games where we know we're not going to make a bet. It's a pass for me, right?
It's a pass for me as well.
Pass for you. All right, move on, Jim.
Yep.
All right, San Jose, Tampa Bay. Transparency is the name of the game for me and you and everyone here. I thought this was a no-brainer Tampa Bay play, so even though it's a huge line, I bet it on the overnight line when it was like -280 or whatever. Now it's down to 230. I understand that, that's because Vasilevsky isn't starting, maybe, but we already knew he wasn't going to start. I don't know. I thought Tampa Bay was, after the loss last night, right? Tampa Bay's off of a bad loss last night. San Jose, They won their last game at Pittsburgh before the break, but before that, just losing. Overall, just not a good team, mostly losing. Tampa Bay, off of the first game back loss, I thought they were an automatic play, even at -280. But the line has moved strongly in San Jose's direction. And I also think the over might be a play. And I did also bet the Tampa Bay team total over, even at 3.5 with a favorite line. But maybe I'm totally wrong on this game. That's why I go first when we analyze these games. And you, Jimmy the Bag, go second.
I like the whole thought process. The market was moving immediately, and it kind of threw me for a loop. It didn't stop me from betting the Lightning first period -0.5.
Sorry, I also had that one as well. Lightning first period, yes.
Yeah, I got +120. That market didn't move. And my guy Brant Hunt in the house. Diehard says classic Tampa off a loss spot and Tampa Bay parlay here. The market move did throw me for a bit of a loop. And then I asked myself, what do I want that -1, -240 and +105? Let's punch it in now. Cause I wanted to hear what everybody thought about the big market move towards San Jose. Cause you're right. We knew it was Ellie. I can't take a -166 on the -1 line. But
I mean, I guess sometimes goalies, especially when they're off a big loss, play back to back. So I guess maybe it was like, when it's confirmed that Elliott's going to be in goal, that makes the move happen. I guess maybe.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to be in net for the Sharks. Capo Kakinen was listed. I don't know. I know that they are in a very strange situation here with the deadline. The idea that James Reimer is going to be moved imminently is what all the hockey insiders think at this point. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I do know that they're playing out the string. They're sellers at the deadline. They coming off that 6-4 win at Pittsburgh. Couture goes for 2 goals and 3 assists. Carlson's been really good this year. 16 goals, 50 assists, 66 points in 51 games, 25-27 a game, but an $11.5 million contract that doesn't end till the 26-27 season makes him unmovable. Thank Doug Wilson's terrible decision-making for that. Timo Meier, Thomas Hertl, they're available. But I think it comes down to the Lightning were outshot 49-33 last night by their in-state rivals.
So is that a fluke, or is that indicative of something fundamental about them offensively?
No, I think it's just they were not ready to go, and it's unacceptable. And they know that it's unacceptable. This is a spot where they have the least amount of cap space in the entire league. They're not going to be coming into the playoffs with Kucherov on LTIR and having this extra cap space like they have in years past. They have $750,000. This is their hockey team, and they're not going to be getting. There's no improvement coming, and I just think that they were slapped in the face last night. And this is a veteran squad that will step up here. So I expect them to deliver here. Does that mean I want them at -1 at -166 or want them on the puck line? I don't think so. But I do want them for the first 20 minutes of the game to show heart and the heart of a champion and step up. And so that's about we go back to risk reward. If my unit size was $1,000, maybe I can bet a -1 at -166, but I don't with $200 bets. I just don't see the risk reward at a -166, where I do see it on the first period -1/2 at +120.
Yeah, and right. And what about the over? So what about the Tampa Bay team total over? I mean, they should be able to. They regularly put up 4 or more goals in a game, and this feels like one of those situations where they're likely to do it, right?
It feels like an over. It absolutely does. Guillermo Zutucci, Razor Sharp picks in the house. Res Mob rolling with us. Also, Rocco Rogers has come in with his period parlay. San Jose, Tampa, first period over 1.5. Edmonton, Detroit, second period over 1.5 at +137. MDRs on first period, Tampa -1/2 +101. First period, Tampa team total over 1 at -120. First period, Tampa over 1.5 +175. I love that he's on all that.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Oh, and by the way, Razor Sharp Picks has a Razor Horse of the Day, Mahoning Valley, race 8, the number 3, Motagali, money line 15-1. You copy and paste that. God, it was fun hammering horses all day with the group. But look, I get the over quite a bit. I mean, do we trust Elliott? Elliott's been fine this year, 9-3, 3.07 goals against average, 903 save percentage. I mean, Brian Elliott's been better than Casey DeSmith, if you want to make comparisons, smaller sample size. Lucci Mello in the house, great to see you. So, I like the over. But what if the Lightning are very upset about what happened last night? And they're like, this is not how we start the second half of the season. And what if they shut down the Sharks? And what if it's a 5-1 final? So maybe you lean towards more of the Lightning team total over.
All right. Well, I'm going to make some official plays here, Jimmy the Bag. Just because of my condition that I suffer from, AIPP, I'm going to take the first period money line and not the first period -0.5, although I did bet both of them. So I'll take Tampa Bay first period money line -180. I'll also take the Tampa Bay team total over 3.5 -140. That's the current line at Pinnacle, and the 180 is a market line. And I think I'd also like to take the first period over. And maybe Tampa Bay -1. Why would we not like the first period over? That's a little risky, I guess, for all the reasons you said. Maybe they'll come in and win the first period 1-0 and make sure San Jose doesn't score in the first period, right?
It's possible, but Sharks have been playing to overs all season long, and the reason why I've not been banking enough of it is because I still have a bias of catching the under 5.5s all year, every year with them. I mean, remember San Jose, Anaheim a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago? I mean, they were all we were like, oh, we're just milking these unders, and so I've not handled the Sharks well, but I did handle this. The only time to back them is on the road. I've done that well. You fade them at home, and then if you want to back them on the road, I've done that okay. But
I feel like if you're going to take the first period over, one and a half minus 165, you may as well just go for the Tampa Bay first period team total over 1.5 at plus 185, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for risk reward, I do think things are getting complicated now. I mean, I don't want to sit there and need 2 goals. What I want is the Lightning to outshoot the Sharks 14-3 in the first period.
Right.
That's what I want. And then, yeah, that would lead you to a 2-0 first period final or 2-0 score. So, look, I get it. I mean, there's so many ways to handle this and to move on this. And I'm very comfortable with my spot.
All right, I'm going to take it 3 ways. I'll throw on Tampa Bay -1, minus 164. That's the current line of Pinnacle. I'll go on this one 3 ways, and I like the first period and the full game over as well, but I'll just stick with the Tampa Bay team total over, first period money line, and -1, minus 164.
I like it. Subhuman Gaucho says can get Lightning race to 2 first period at plus 200. That's an interesting way of doing it. Cheshire Cat, HC Red Star, Kunlun versus Severstal, Sharovapets over 5.5 in the KHL. Rocco Rogers saying DeSmith confirmed for the Pens. So, Pete, moving on 3 ways. I just have it 1 way. Lightning first period -0.5 at plus 120. But, if I could get the -1 at minus 155 or minus something like that, maybe I move as well. But I'm good here.
Okay, let me just quickly look at 1 second here. Yeah, minus 164 ever. All right, let's move on, Jim, okay?
Let's do it, my friend.
All right, Edmonton, Detroit. This is an interesting one. This is another bet that I made on the overnight line. We'll see what you think about this, Jimmy the Bag. Detroit actually not that bad closing the first half, right? They won 3 out of their last 5. Not necessarily great, but definitely competitive. Edmonton, awesome, right? Playing in top form. They closed the first half winning most of their games. So I didn't take the Detroit big home dog money line. I did take a shot with the team total over 2.5 at, minus 165 or whatever the hell it was. But, I don't really want to fade Edmonton right now, but feels like Detroit is definitely a competitive team. Probably if you gave me a free play on the side, I'd throw it on Detroit at plus 140 or wherever it is right now. In the overnight, it was like 145. And I did already bet the Detroit team total over. Could easily see Detroit stealing this one. What do you have to say about what I just said, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, I have a bit of I'm sort of jaded. I have the Oilers to win the division, which I expect to cash. I have the Oilers to win the Western Conference, which I expect to cash. And I have Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, which I don't expect to cash, but I think they can get there. There is a player on the Detroit Red Wings who is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, who I think is probably the best rental player on the market. Now, you would need a shrink. You'd need some inside information to know what the hell's going on in his head right now. But Tyler Bertuzzi has been possibly the biggest disappointment in the entire NHL. 1 goal, 4 assists in 17 games. He's a -8 in those 17 games. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And because of that, but I mean, if you close your eyes and imagine him on the line with McDavid, somebody's going to pick up Bertuzzi at the deadline. And it, depending on where his head's at, and I just don't know, because, there has been some questionable, obviously this year it's been questionable, but he is such a monster pickup for a team here. One big problem with your spot right now, I think, is that Philip Hronek sustained an upper body injury in practice on Sunday. So it's unclear if he's going to be able to play. He's been absolutely spectacular. He's been so good this year. Just completely blew my mind. There's also talk amongst NHL circles that Dylan Larkin, their captain, could be moved here at the trade deadline, which I would be surprised at. But I digress. I'm on the Oilers here. This is a different. I just think the Oilers are. I don't know what's going on in Detroit. Let me start there, and I think the Oilers are bet on and bet on and bet on. This opened up at Pinnacle minus 154. It's now minus 171. This total opened up at 6.5 minus 121 to the over. It's now minus 123. I moved on the Oilers on the -1 line. I think the Oilers are going to make me a lot of money. And looking at my futures this year, I did a lot of good things, and I can't wait to talk. I got a couple more spots where we can talk about it. I did some bad. I thought the Canucks forward group was so phenomenal, and I didn't realize how horrific their defense was going to be. And I also did not foresee the Bruins being the juggernaut that they are this year. But back to this spot, Stuart Skinner, 13, 10, and 3, 2.92 goals against average, 914 save percentage. Thank God that he's done this because Campbell's been such a problem. Husso on the other side is not being good. I don't know if that's the defense in front of him or what. Edmonton, 32% power play, 75% penalty killing this year. Detroit, 20.1, 76.8. The Oilers are buyers at the deadline. This is a wide-open Pacific Division. They're 3 points behind the Kraken. They played one more game than them. They're 3 points behind the Kings, and they have 3 games in hand on the Kings. They won 7 of 8 before the game break. They have $1.125 million in cap space. This is a buy-on squad, and I like them here. I like them a lot in this stretch run. I think they're going to win the Pacific Division. I think they're going to make me a lot of money. I still think that what McDavid is doing is unbelievable. He's separated himself from everybody else in the NHL. You can no longer say that there was a handful of players, that you could say were right there with him, and even Draisaitl. Now you can't. I mean, he's just better than every single player in the NHL, and that it's time now for him to make a big run and continue the run they made last year. And look, I got Oilers -1 here at even money. I thought that was a great price, and then I think that the Red Wings are going to let us be sellers and think about next year. And if Roenick is not in the lineup tonight, then it's a smash and grab. Get on the Oilers. So that's how I feel.
Okay, I've been listening very carefully, Jimmy the Bag. I am going to take a play on this one. I'm going to take the over. And again, because of the condition that I suffer from, AIPP, I'm going to take over 6 at -156, which is the current line at Pinnacle. But I'm hearing you, Jimmy the Bag. I think it sounds like Edmonton's gonna roll offensively, and then Detroit should be able to put up at least 1 or 2. I might take back my team total over. That might have been a mistake, but I don't think they'll get shut out. Over 6. What do you think of that? -156.
I think there's going to be goals here. And Luke, my man, I don't know if this is going to be a smash and grab scenario. I do think if Roenick's not in there, it has that opportunity. I just think that look at this Oilers team. They're 15-7-1 on the road. As soon as they pick, they need to buy at the deadline. That won't be easy. They'd only have $1.125 million in cap space, but as soon as they add a depth piece, a top 6 forward, I shouldn't not a depth piece, but a top 6 forward, and they're going to probably need another defenseman. But I think the Oilers are buy on. I think they're going to go on a really fun run here, and I'm a real believer in their team, and I've been all year long. And they've not played good hockey, and they're 28-18-4. They played good hockey before the break. We got a little glimpse of that, and it maybe at home there's going to be times when you don't really want them, Bankroll Spence says you tend to stay away from taking overs in the hockey for the most part. No, not at all. I just and Pete and I have gone through this together too. The last game before the All-Star break, the first couple days after the All-Star break, I fear totals.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like we have a sense of what's going on. I try not to bet any of them, so it's not about not wanting overs. I love offensive, high-scoring hockey, and I love finding the spots. I do prefer under and defensive.
Yeah, it does. God, it is kind of a first game back from the All-Star break. Even a high-scoring, explosive team like Edmonton, they're going to be a great offensive team for the second half. First game back after the All-Star break, it's just so dicey, isn't it, Jim?
It is. It's dicey. I do think that Skinner being in the All-Star game helps. Mm-hmm. These young guys who have not made it and get a chance to taste that. I think that Skinner is going to have a really good game here. As long as he's in, because of being in the All-Star game, it's possible that Campbell could be in. But if Campbell's not in, I'll be very uncomfortable. Slatsy says Roenick questionable after leaving practice. That's the biggest angle for why you don't want Detroit here, in my estimation.
Right. Okay, well, we can make it official anyway. 6 -156. We'll take it, Jim.
You're in.
Let's roll. All right, let's move on. All right.
Yep.
All right, Kraken and the Islanders. This is a tough one. Seattle kind of 50-50-ish heading into the break, right? They do have a weird home road profile, though. Much better on the road this year than at home. Of course, that youngster Matty Benier, is out, so they're missing a bunch of guys. And the Islanders, the Bo Horvat era has started, and they got a win. They're on a back-to-back last night, low scoring against Philly. It's a low total, 5.5. Right, the Islanders have two great goalies. Seattle in general tends to be an offensive team. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. Kind of 50-50-ish again, though, just in terms of wins and losses heading into the break. And I'm not exactly sure what to make of the Islanders right now in this spot. They definitely have some energy. It's a team with some energy. It's the opposite of lethargy with this team right now. And so I feel like over the next 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, more likely than not, if you bet on them every single game, you'll come out a little bit ahead. Doesn't mean that every game is a spot with value for them, and I don't know if this one is either. But the Islanders look pretty promising to me right now in general.
I think so. I don't expect Bo Horvat to score at the rate he was scoring.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a contract year, and the Canucks have much higher scoring forwards than the Islanders. So I don't expect anything like that. Res Mob, I copied and pasted your Rutgers under 64 first half. Thank you for sharing that. And Jimmy Gomez with a great note. Oilers are undefeated this year as an away favorite off a 5-0 win, head-to-head with the same info historically. 1-2 to Detroit, 1-2 with Detroit. I like that look. I like that stat, I like that edge. And I think something to be very weary of here is the injury report. And Matt Beniers and Jaden Schwartz, they could be ready to go here.
Oh, really?
Because of the All-Star break. I've got them day-to-day here, but you can't fade Seattle thinking that they're not going to be ready to go until you get the beat writers' insight on them, just because it's the first game after the break. So I'm always very hesitant when I look at who's day-to-day first game after the break. That's just now. I'm not saying that Beniers and Schwartz will be in lineup or not, but just because of the break, you need to know here. I was thinking the same thing. Are the Islanders going to be a bet on almost every game here moving forward? And I don't know the answer. I like Pelech and Pulock. I like them both a lot. I love Noah Dobson, PEI boy. I love the way he plays. So I like their defense, and I think that Horvat, Bailey, Barzal line could be really good, capable of being really good. I was so curious to what that game was going to be like against Philadelphia. I would have been on the Islanders on the -1 line, so it would have been a push for me. We're UBS Arena here. Grubauer, I have listed for the Kraken. I'm not sure if he'll be in between the pipes, but he's actually playing a little bit better right now. Sorokin is still an elite goaltender, even though he has not looked quite as good over the last little while. And Varlamov was in on that first game. And Clint says, I think tonight is a rest versus rust spot for the Kraken. They probably win this game, but with the Islanders already having a game under their belt, feels like they have the edge. Mike M saying Seattle's in the 16-7 spot tonight. Great value for the Islanders in the back-to-back spot. North End says, I'll be back in the Isles a lot moving forward. They got energy shot they desperately needed. I think that's all fair. Seattle on the year, 20.3% power play, 72.3% penalty killing. Islanders, 15.9% power play, 83.2% penalty killing. If you've been fading a Kraken on the road, you're getting destroyed. And maybe this is the right time to fade. I don't know. I'm very afraid. Anytime I think that I know what this Kraken team is going to do, I stop because I don't. They're probably the best story of the year, sitting on top of the Pacific, very weak Pacific. They have $2.34 million of cap space. They're going to be buyers. Vince Dunn has been so good. God, I did not expect Vince Dunn and Adam Larson to be spectacular. I just did not see coming. Vince Dunn's a plus 27, 36 points in 49 games. Adam Larson leads the team with 24-13 a game. He's a plus 30. And, there's just no money in fading the Kraken or not trusting the Kraken or not believing on them and them on the road. But are the Islanders, is it buy-in now on the Islanders? I'd like it to be. I'd want to be involved. But I also don't want to get carried away on a trade here for Bo Horvat, who played the best hockey of his entire career by far to get a contract. Now he gets a contract, moves. Now he's got to move his family over to New York. I mean, this is a team that's already out of the playoffs. It's disappointed a lot of people. I'm not going to sit here and expect the fan in me wants to back the Islanders and get excited about Barzal now playing with Horvat. But I know, I know better. And that's why I didn't bet last night either. So I'm off this game, Pete.
What about first period under? And then we'll move on quickly. Any thoughts on that first period under?
The Islanders are beautiful unders. I mean, they cash unders all the time. It's just that the Kraken are a high-octane offensive team, and Horvat's got to help their power play. So, this Islanders power play has been atrocious this year. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I guess I just the Kraken are they're just proving everybody wrong every night, and so what's that? The first period under 1.5 for me. Is that a pick 'em? I don't dislike it. Islanders unders are going to keep cashing. The Pelican Pulock are very, very good defensemen. Very hard to score on. Not very offensive, but very good. MDR says Seattle team total 2.5 juice to -155, so he's looking at team total 3. Luis is passing on this one. I'm off this spot.
Okay, I will. I'll pull the trigger on that. I wasn't intending on doing that. It just occurred to me as I was listening to you and looking at the comment section. First period under +101 current line at Pinnacle, Jim.
First period under for Pete. I'm going to write this in here. But look at here's a good idea just to understand exactly the situation here for Horvat. Slatsy is Horvat in his hockey pool, and he's very unhappy with the trade.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking Horvat off an incredible group of forwards with horrific defense, but now this is a much more structured group, and his point total is going to plummet. I mean, I think Horvat for the rest of his career, 8.5 or 8.5 or 8.8, whatever, for 8 years, he's going to be a 60-point scorer. He's going to score 25, 28 goals a year. He's going to score 60 points a year. Is that worth $8.5 million? I didn't look, I took a little bit of offense watching him turn into Rocket Richard. What the fuck has that been? You don't get your contract and now you're just going to play out of your mind for 3 or 4 months? Fuck off. You're not Trevor Linden. Good luck. We're not going to miss you. Suck my dick.
You think that, yeah, it makes you nervous, though, taking a first period under with . Right? Just because they're so
Yeah, but I love it with the Islanders. So it's tough. It's tricky. It's tricky. And then totals at this time of the year are tricky.
Yeah, you know what? Why force it? I'm not going to make that official. I pull it back. All right, Jim? Okay, that's not official. All right, let's move on. Vegas and Nashville. You ready, Jim? I don't know. Vegas, terrible. Heading into the break. Before that, they had been winning, but they lost 8 of 10. Heading into the break, Nashville, they closed great, winning 5 of 6. All 5 of those wins were at home, though. The loss was on the road. So Nashville seems too obvious after the All-Star break. My first thought is, obviously, you would take Vegas in this spot, but I definitely have not bet that. Want to hear what you guys have to say. Why did Vegas start losing 8 out of their last 10 heading into the break? And is that likely to turn around, Jim?
Well, I was on the under 96.5 points in Vegas not to make the playoffs. I don't believe in Jack Eichel. And all of us who were fading Vegas were waiting for Stone to get hurt. Waiting patiently for his back. I don't know if he comes back this year. And this is a sinking ship. And I've loved every minute of it. Because I only know sinking ships as a Canucks fan. And these Vegas Golden Knight fans got to taste glory right away. I hope this team loses for the next 20 years. So you get a taste of what it's like to be a hockey fan. And I want them to lose out. And in saying that, I'm filled with anger about how great this Golden Knights team is being. And so I'm on the Nashville Predators, and maybe this isn't a spot you should tail because I've just built up this hate for the Golden Knights, and I'm on the Predators here, and I want Vegas to lose and lose and lose. They've lost 4 straight going into the break. Their team has been bad. You go through their line; they had some issues on defense with their stars, Tador, and Pietrangelo dealing with things off the ice, dealing with injuries. But Chandler Stevenson is their number one centerman. That's why I didn't like the Eichel move in the first place. I was like, Stevenson is everything you could dream about in a hockey player. Big, tough, fast, defensively accountable. And then he started scoring 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is phenomenal. Like, he's so good. He's so quietly excellent. And I was like, now Eichel's your first-line centerman? Chandler Stevenson should be your first-line centerman. Now they're stuck with Eichel. So Nashville closed the break winning 3 straight, and they could get into this race. The Western Conference is not good. They're 4 points out of the wild card spot. They have 3 games in hand on the Flames, who hold the spot. I mean, this is UC Saros playing great hockey, 2.74 goals against average, 920 save percentage. But I'm jaded, and I want Vegas to lose badly. And I'm on Nashville money line here at home. And I've not handled the Predators well this year. So I'm not. This is all. Troy, NBA is next, and then Daby comes on for NCAA basketball. So, and we're almost done hockey here. So I'm on the Preds money line, and the Golden Knights aren't going to make the playoffs, and now they're going to be stuck with this Eichel contract. And I watched a couple interviews of Eichel, and I was like, what's going on with him? I want to know what's going on with him. I can't figure it out. But he's playing soft, and he's not going to the dirty areas. And you have your team leader Stone hurt. And now, what's going to happen to Logan Thompson in the second half of this year? Is he going to be able to play 65 games in goal? I want them to lose. I want to watch it, and I want to make money off of it tonight.
All right, I'm going to pass on this one. My first thought is definitely, obviously, you take Vegas at least first period, but I'll hold off.
Here's the thing that Clint's saying. I thought Eichel was going to step up when the coach called him out, but he's disappeared since then. Yeah, he's an enigma right now. I don't know what you're going to get from him, and I don't like him. My guy's on Vegas first period, and you're going to see. If Mark Stone was in the lineup, I would never make this bet. Stone is a leader. He knows how important it is to turn it around after the break. He's not coming back to help anybody. So, I'm on Nashville.
All right. I would love to take a shot with Vegas first period along with my guy, but I'm going to pass Jimmy the Bag. Try to maintain a positive record in these shows with you here, Jim. So I'm not going to chuck on all these half-assed, half-thought-out, spur of the moment bets unless I really like them. So I'd love to take it, but I'm not going to.
One final game before we get into NBA, and then Daby Cab joining us for NCAA basketball.
All right,
we'll close on a little bum fight here, Pete.
Anaheim, Chicago, I don't know. Tanking happens in the NHL, right? Chicago has got to be tanking. They don't want to be the first, fifth worst team or something like that in the NHL. They want to be the worst or the third worst, the second worst. They lost 3 or 4 heading into the break, but before that, they had been winning. Before that, they had been losing. So, and Anaheim, they closed the first half with a bunch of wins, but they're a terrible team. So 2 absolute dog shit teams here. How much does tanking happen in the NHL? And if it does, which of these teams is more likely to be tanking in this game? I'm not exactly sure. As a dog, maybe I take a shot with Anaheim first period. But other than that, and of course, Anaheim's on a back-to-back. They lost at Dallas last night. I have no opinion. Before I hear what you have to say, if you gave me a free play on this game, I'd probably throw it on Anaheim first period.
I'm on Anaheim first period. There's a bunch of teams tanking here in the NHL, and they went over them on a radio show I was listening to, and there's more teams taking in the NHL this year. Now, obviously, they have Bedard's in there waiting for them, but there's more teams taking in the NHL right now than I've ever seen in my lifetime. Right. Ever. So, who wants to lose out here? The Red Wings, the Canadians, the Blue Jackets, the Flyers, but with Tortorella, you got guys fighting for jobs. He's going to screw that up. The Coyotes, the Blackhawks, the Sharks, the Ducks. There was some confusion as to whether the Canucks and the Blues were trying to lose out. And the Canucks are trying to lose out, but there's some confusion over the fan base being so angry and all that stuff. And there's confusion over the Blues trying to lose out. So that's happening right now. But here for the Ducks, I'm not so – no, obviously – they want Bedard. Everyone wants Bedard, but the Ducks do need to create some kind of a winning culture here where the Blackhawks don't. The Blackhawks want to lose out, and the question for us is Patrick Kane or Taves going to be moved? So, and the Ducks do need to to get a winning culture. This is their first year without Getzlaff in the room, and he's noticeably not there. And there's been a 5-cent move at Pinnacle towards the Ducks. There's been a 7-cent move towards the Ducks since 4 a.m. at Pinnacle. This total opened up at 6.5, minus 116 to the under. It's now minus 118, and it drops to 6 sometimes. And I was wrong. I made mistakes in my future bets, and I also have some really nice spots. And I think I should get into the black with my futures action. But I was wrong about the Ducks, and I thought I really believe. I don't know what to make of Zegras anymore. And, he's such an important piece to this puzzle. But second half of back-to-back, they played well against Dallas last night. And I think they're going to provide some value with us. They have no pressure on them whatsoever. I'm going to try to find spots to back the Ducks as we move for the last 30 games of the season. And I do not know what the Blackhawks are going to give you out of the All-Star break coming back to this losing culture. I don't know. And I think the Ducks are going to be ready to go first period. So I'm on the Ducks first period. I got plus 105.
All right. I'll make that official as well. At Pinnacle, I'm seeing plus 108. So I'll make that official. Anaheim, first period, plus 108, official pick, and I just bet it.
Ducks first period, plus 108. I love it.
Okay, great. Andrew G says, Pete, I like the camo. Looking good. Thank you very much. Andrew G, look at this. Look at this. Look at this look right here.
Slatsy says, Slatsy, it was funny, Slatsy. I mentioned to Clint that I should probably watch some of the way I talk about what I want to do to Mullet Arena. And he said you could make a stop in Vegas, take care of their place too. No, I love the city of Las Vegas. It's my favorite city in the world. So I don't want to do anything to hurt them. I just any fan base that only knows success and winning, I would like to ski mask them and let them understand what it's like to feel pain and losing. And so, and that's just being a Canucks fan. There's nothing worse in sports than being a Vancouver fan. There's nothing. Canucks, Grizzlies, it's just been painful. And for whatever reason, I want other fans to feel this horrific pain. And it's mean. I don't know why I do. Like when if I got in a car accident, I would not wish this on anybody. If I got, but for whatever reason, I don't like watching other fans celebrate, and I want all the Canadian teams to lose. And I don't know why. I don't know. I can't explain. But let's move on to basketball and get out of this, man.
Okay, sure. Hey, what about this? Just very quickly, Diehard MMA podcast said he likes goals in this game. So what about Anaheim team total over 2.5, even at minus 155?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to know who is going to be in net. Do we know who's going to be in net for the Blackhawks in their first game out?
Let's see. For the Blackhawks, it looks like
I got Mrazek listed, but
yeah,
is he actually going to be in net? I'm not sure.
Mrazek likely.
I guess if I was going to make that move, I would turn it into a 3. I mean, do we think goals are going to be scored? I would say so. That 6.5 is at plus 105. I guess I never really quite thought about that angle. I just have no idea what the Blackhawks are going to give you. They went on a run there where they were not scoring at all. And so I don't know. I don't know what they're going to give you. And Coin saying that Jones is in for Seattle. That's better than Grubauer. Yeah, I guess if I got free action on the total, I would expect some goals to be scored in this game for sure.
Gosh, all right. I guess I won't double up. And then like Chicago wins 3-2, and I lose 1.5 units because I donked on the Anaheim team total over at a big favorite line last minute. All right, I won't do that.
Coin says favorite versus team on the back-to-back hitting at a 65% clip this year. This is a Chicago spot for what it's worth. And it says, yikes. I don't think that we can count the regular trends and all that stuff in the first game out of the All-Star break. I just think
that's full game, not necessarily first period.
True. All right, let's move on to the National Basketball Association. But can we review all spots here that we moved on?
Yeah.
If Pete wants to add anything. I'm on the Lightning first period minus 0.5 at plus 120. Pete's on the Lightning first period at minus 180. The team total over 3.5 minus 140, and the -1 at minus 164. Oh, yes, not flush. It's Stolarz will be in net. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Stolarz being in that after Gibson put on a clinic last night. I'm on the Oilers -1 at +100. Pete's on the over 6 at -156. Seattle Kraken, New York Islanders stayed off, but what a fascinating hockey game that I can't wait to watch. I'm on Nashville money line, and this could hurt me. This could easily hurt me because I despise Vegas Golden Knights so much. And then Ducks first period at +108 for Pete, and I'm on the Ducks first period at +105. There's a Fowlish Hound in the house.
Hell yeah.
Great to see you, Fowlish Hound. And I'm very, very excited about the festivities in San Antonio, the infusion dinner that we're going to have. I'm extremely excited. That's on the
what? That's the first. What the fuck is that? I never heard that before.
That's
an infusion dinner?
Yeah, buddy.
The fuck is that? All right, we'll talk about it off camera.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to hang with everybody. I'm so excited. We have a stand-up comedy show on the Sunday night booked for us at the Southtown 101, starring Sonny Dollywall, one of the best comics in North America. And he's going to be partying with us all weekend, so we get to hang with him all weekend and then watch him perform for an hour, which will be fun. Fowlish Hound says we're hugging just for you. Perfect. And I can't wait to hang with everybody. We're going to have so much fun. And, man, I'm pumped. But, Pete, we got a lot of work to do still here.
Yeah. You want to get to NBA, Jimmy the Bag?
Embracing like long-lost friends. Oh, I love it, Fowlish. It's so funny. I love it. I'm in. Yes, let's go into NBA, my friend, and get to work. And here we're really going to need the great NBA cappers in the chat to step up for us here. I've not been succeeding in NBA. I had an okay day on Friday, and it was going to be my last day of the year, Pete. I had the Raptors first quarter, Raptors first half, and the Rockets team total under first half. And I was like, if I'm not in the black after tonight, I'm gonna have to step away. And then the Rockets opened up 9-0, and I'm like watching downstairs by myself. And I didn't catch the first quarter. I did catch the first half, and the Rockets team total under. I had a 4-3 day and made a bit of money on it, but I got hurt in college basketball. But I digress. There's Tata Booker in the house. That's what we need. Tata Booker ready to get to work, and Booker making his return as well in Brooklyn tonight. So Tata in the house, perfect timing. Let's get to work, my friend.
All right, yeah. First game on the docket, New Orleans. The Knicks and Orlando. And the Knicks have not been good defensively since Robinson went down. But I thought that this was a game that they would at least to start, if not full game, try to get a little bit better, make a little bit of a statement defensively. And Orlando returning from the 4-game trip. They've been great ATS for a while. I thought on the overnight line that the under would be a good play at 227.5. I did bet it, and I wasn't that worried about it crashing by this show, but it looks like it has, although now I think it might be up a little bit, back up to like 225 or something. I was thinking that under and maybe first half under would be decent plays. Other than as far as the side's concerned, no opinion at all. I don't really want to fade Orlando right now, and the Knicks long term I'm not too high on ATS wise. So I did have a bet on the overnight line on the under at 227.5. Not sure if I still would recommend it now.
Yeah, I was, now the market makes more sense to me. But last night I was looking at it and it didn't. Our guy Billy Brisbane on Banchero over 6.5 rebounds, gone over in 5 straight, coming off a double Sunday. There's our guy Brizzy in the house. Brizzy will be on our NFL show tonight as well. I was surprised that the bigger bets had come in on the Knicks. That stopped. But that stopped me in my tracks. Initially, I was just like Sammy Comer. I was going to be on the Magic at plus, no vig at home. But I stopped. Now it's changed. So 10,317 tickets in. 31% of the tickets on Orlando, but now 59% of the cash. And the 1.5s are gone, and now they're just ones. And that makes sense to me. 82% of the tickets and 92% of cash on the over is a surprise. But I guess it dropped so quickly. Let's take a look at what happened with this line history here. The Magic opened up at +1 at -106. They're +1.5 at -113. They're basically right where they were. Totals wise, it's opened up at 226 at Pinnacle, and it never dropped really at Pinnacle. Pinnacle went down to 225.5, which is where it is now. But we have a ton of cash on the over. Knicks playing at a slow pace, 2-3, 95.71 possessions a game over the last 5. Orlando 3-2, 101.40 possessions a game. Saturated on the Knicks first half. Jimmy Gomez, Knicks first half money line. Mike M says Magic are 20-2 against the spread. Last 22 games with rest if the total is less than 237. Wow. Fanatical Jim says that RJ Barrett late scratch makes me wonder if something is up behind the scenes. They call it a non-COVID illness, and we expect him to be back in the lineup. But that's interesting thought, Fanatical Jim, that I didn't really think about. Astute Chaos says I lean over because New York haven't been defending. Knicks coming in for the second win in 3 games, 108-97 at home over the Sixers on Sunday night. This to me, this was I want to fade the Knicks. I mean, they play, a rival. They're down 21 points and they completely step up. Julius Randle goes 24, 9 and 7. Brunson 21. Fournier sighting 17. Miles McBride, Hartenstein, and then I expect RJ Barrett to come back. But I was impressed with Magic coming back against Charlotte. I know Charlotte's not a strong team, but I was still impressed with the comeback. Second straight win. Banchero 22-10. Wendell Carter Jr. 20-12. They're 17-12 since December 7th. Fultz is playing really good basketball. And then I was like, is Mo Bamba the issue? Because he starts serving the 4-game suspension for what happened at Minnesota on Friday. I was like, is that Mo Bamba being out the reason why it looked before like the Sharks were on the Knicks? Saturated says the Magic have only won 3 in a row once this year. Can they do it again here? I would like to back the Magic here. I would like to stop being hesitant. And would you say, Pete, the hesitancy comes from the fact that they're coming home off of a successful road trip?
Yeah, sure. I mean, hold on a second. Yeah, it's just Orlando in general is a team that I, as of right now, I would be betting on or passing. I'm very, very loath to bet against them right now, but that's just me. And I didn't bet the side either way in this one. I just don't really like the Knicks in general ATS right now, and I do like Orlando ATS in general right now.
Yes, same here. And I thought this was going to be a very public spot on Orlando. So I was taken a little back by the market movement. Billy Brisbane says Knicks got some momentum coming off the Sunday win versus Sixers. Spenny Pennybaum's looking at the double-double for Carter Jr. And Brant Hunt looking at that under as well, leaning to the under. Viper also on Knicks first half. Mike M says Knicks first quarter 4-0 straight up versus Magic. First half 6-0, but then 0-4 full game straight up as a favorite. Knicks early, Magic late for Mike M.
I mean, that makes sense.
I would like to move on the Magic, and I wonder if I should wait because of how good the Knicks are first half. And Sammy Conway says Knicks have Philly again on deck. Markel also looking at the first half for the Knicks.
I do like Wendell Carter props though. Rebounds, double, whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I've been hesitant to back Orlando in certain spots, and watching all my friends cash with them. And then I got on the wagon, comfortably on Friday for a nice win. I would like to back them again. I'd like to move on them here.
All right.
Are you making anything official here, Pete?
Not right now, but I'll probably have a bet on Wendell Carter props to have a decent game, one way or another. Yeah, what's the double? Yeah, plus 143 at Will Hill. Rebounds 8.5. That's not bad.
Well, if you want to grab it,
yeah, I'll hold off for now.
All right. Well, let's talk about Devin Booker's return in Brooklyn.
All right. Yes. So Phoenix and the Nets. This one, I was thinking maybe Phoenix team total over on this one. Obviously, Phoenix rolling, playing great, and the Nets, obviously covering as well and heading over. So I'm not sure if I'd want to lay all those points with Phoenix necessarily, but I did bet the Phoenix team total over a little bit, 115, as soon as it came out. Obviously the Nets are dealing with all the shakeups and everything, and the new players and everything. And my sense is that they're probably going to be, it'll come together offensively before defensively. And Phoenix, I think, is more likely than not to get over their team total I'm not sure about that big road favorite, though. But I did bet the Phoenix team total over already. Might make that official unless I hear something different from the comment section and you, Jimmy the Bag.
I was talking about the first year we capped NBA together, and I had the hard, strict rule where I was just going to have no road favorites at all. And, I had a good season with you. I got to a bad spot, which I often do in the first 6 weeks, 2 months of the year, which I got to take more accountability for, and kind of, if it keeps happening, you got to do something to make it stop happening. But then I got on that big run after you gave me that one of the funnest speeches that you've ever given me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about how it just worked for me, never taking big road favorites or any road favorites. Phoenix opening up -4.5. They're now -6. From a total perspective, opened up at 226, now at 225. This isn't as public of a spot as one would guess. 7,897 tickets in. 52% of the tickets are on the Suns, and 96% of the cash. So huge, all the big bets have come in, and I think they were probably under, when it was under 5 points, the big bets came in and pushed it to 6. 86% of tickets and 89% of cash on the over. Billy Brisbane says Suns -5.5 is good money. Saturated says Suns -4.5. Nets aren't going to shoot 65% from 3 again. And our guy Saturated and Sammy Calmer, but Saturated saying Suns will put an end to the Cam Thomas show. Sammy Calmer on the Suns first quarter -1.5. I mean, the Suns coming in off their second straight win, 160-100 at Detroit on Saturday night. They've been playing better defensively, and now Booker comes back, and we all see what happens when the star player comes back, and that makes me hesitant to want anything to do with the Suns. Over the last 5 games, they're playing at a slower pace, 97.18 possessions a game. Brooklyn 99.20. Phoenix has allowed 110 points or less for 8 of their last 10 games. Their defense much better. 8-31-16 against Detroit. 4th double-double in 6 games since returning from that illness that he was out for 3 games. Without Booker, they went 10-11. But what we often see is they once they figured it out and got the right rhythm going, they were fine. They're 8-2 over their past 10. So they've opened up this 5-game road trip with 2 wins. Now their star player comes back. That's on the second half of back-to-back after losing 124-116 at home to the Clip Show last night. Cam Thomas, man, what can you say about him? Second youngest player in NBA history to have consecutive 40-point games. Only LeBron was younger. 5-8 without KD. And Dinwiddie and Finney-Smith will not play. But Ben Simmons could return, which is not going to help them. Sky Dragon says, I'm backing the Nets every night.
So Booker is back?
Booker is going to be playing tonight, yes.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. All right. That makes me a little bit nervous, especially take the team total over. Booker comes back, and then maybe, the team in general lays an offensive egg at least the first game back. So I'm going to hold off on making Phoenix a team total over play, official play. Yeah,
I wonder if the Nets early is the spot. This feels like a – the Fix is in says Booker usually has chemistry problems.
Yeah, there you go.
Game. We've seen it. The Spenny saying minutes restriction for Booker. That's true. MDR says sirens after crack pigeons. Flashback just now. Yes, it's Pete that has to deal with those things now. I live in a very boring, very quiet community with no pigeons. Brent Hunt saying just lie bet the Magic. I get that. I guess I would lean towards Brooklyn early. This game makes me really uncomfortable. Sky Dragon says laying points on the road with the team getting their star player back from injury. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
But Tone Miggins, and we know Tone cashes. He's levels play today. Suns first half -2.5, -120 for a unit and a half. 8 and double. Yeah, I mean, this is to me. This would be a Brooklyn or no bet, of course, with the star player coming back, simplifying everything. So I'm either going to bet Brooklyn or stay off here. And North End says, I think Suns will be the most public bet of the day. I guess you're right. I guess, what? I have some interest in Brooklyn, and I think I'll wait. I'll wait and see if I can get an even bigger number. And I think that's probably how I would like to handle it. But second half of a back-to-back, do I want Brooklyn in the second half? You're asking these guys, Cam Thomas especially, to do so much. So let's do Chaos leaning over. I think you're right, North Ender. I think I will be I think I'm going to see how high this line gets in it and then look to moving on Brooklyn either first quarter or first half. Let's move on.
Right. Yeah, no bet for me there. Next game is Atlanta and New Orleans. Another one. I made a couple of bets on the overnight lines. Not sure if they were the right thing to do, but I did them small. So if they lose, then that's okay. And if I take them back and hedge out, It won't be a big loss, even if I get middled. Atlanta on the road trip, New Orleans, 2 nice wins and covers at home. Before that, they had lost 5 in a row. And Atlanta coming off the loss. And I'm assuming that Trae Young is going to be in, right? Or is that wrong?
No, that's right. Trae Young,
right.
We're all assuming that he will be in.
So I know that New Orleans is pretty good ATS-wise in the beginning of games, first half. But I like Atlanta first half, first quarter. And also I took a shot with them on the team total over. I think I got 117, something like that. And yeah, I wouldn't necessarily want to take Atlanta to get the win or cover here, but Atlanta early and Atlanta team total over. I bet on the overnight lines. Does that make sense to you, Jim?
Yeah, I find that interesting. I think I find it appealing. I should probably even say Pelicans opening up -2.5. They're now -1. So a pretty legit move towards the Hawks. Totals wise, it's opened up at 234.5. Now at 237. Let's take a look. Lucky Lefty also liking that spot as well. We have 8,150. Oh, sorry, that was the Suns. We have 9,477 tickets in, and the sharp action all over the Hawks. 27% of the tickets and 76% of the cash. 27% of the tickets market moving in that direction. Seems like it's the spot here. 51% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on the over. 51 and 87, and we see this go from 234.5 up to 237. Spenny Penny Bombs looking at Larry Nance over 7.5 boards. Atlanta 2-3 over the past 5, playing at a pace at 99.00 possessions a game. They're 14-16 on the road. Pelicans 2-3 over their past 5, playing at a pace of 100.60 possessions a game. Atlanta had their 2-game winning streak snapped last night in the 128-108 loss at Denver. Oh, sorry, last night on Saturday. I know I said last night there. On Saturday night. They were coming off back-to-back games. So the Hawks won 115-108 at Utah on Friday, and then they lost badly to Denver without Trae Young, who was dealing with the non-COVID illness. DeJounte went for 28. DeAndre went for 20. Pelicans come in off their second straight win, 136-104 at home over the Kings on Sunday night. They weren't scoring at all in that 10-game losing streak, and now they found the match. I mean, they won twice in 2 nights. They beat the Lakers 131-126 on Saturday, and then 136-104 on Sunday against the Kings. Trey Murphy goes for 30, 6 of 8 from 3. So no Zion with the hamstring, no BI with the toe, and no JV with the quad soreness. So Zion out, but Ingram and Valanciunas could play. I like this look that you have on.
Yeah. And I beat a little bit of a line move. We'll see where it closes, but I'll make it official right now. Heritage has 118, so I'll take that. Atlanta Hawks team total over 118 -110, and also thinking about first half, first quarter, but maybe that's trying to force it a little bit,
Well, I don't think it's trying to force it.
No,
no, I like it. I like it a lot. Now, I mean, I'm not someone to be trusted so far. I need to heat up badly, but I think that the idea makes a ton of sense. I mean, I'm nervous talking about it. I'm nervous, having to be because we got the Super Bowl show tonight, and I'm gonna be if I bet first quarter and first half, it's in a sport where I'm not succeeding at the moment. I don't know how I'm gonna focus on the show, but that's the only thing that makes me not want to bet it is that I'm going to be thinking about it while the show's on. But I like the Hawks early, and I think that the sharp action's on the Hawks for a reason. Sammy Comer says last game of a road trip for Atlanta. Let's just go over this road trip here quickly. What do you think of the spot last game on the road trip? I mean, we're talking about a 500 basketball team, so it's not like they're in any shape to relax at all. But let's see what they're. I just think that they sort of set things up here where they gave the win to Denver. It's saying that what we need to do is we need to win that final game against New Orleans and come out 3-2 on the road trip and build some, momentum before the All-Star break. So I like Atlanta here. I like Atlanta quite a bit.
All right. You know what? Yeah, there's reasons not to take it, but I bet it already, and I'll make it official. At Pinnacle, first quarter plus a half, -111. First quarter plus a half point, -111, Atlanta Hawks.
I mean, Sammy Comer on the Pelicans, that makes me nervous. And Saturated says BI and Valanciunas fully rested. Pels smash.
That's all full game, though.
It is. Regis Austin also on the Pelicanos money line. Sky Dragon says Atlanta or pass, and I'd like to get involved with Atlanta here. I think this was all set up for them to finish this road trip 3-2 and build momentum. And they gave the game away to Denver so that they'll have all hands on deck here at the Smoothie King Center. But I am a little nervous seeing the backers. I mean, when Saturated talks like that, and Sammy Calmer and Regis makes me nervous. But I do like it. I do like the Hawks. I think I'm gonna hammer it.
All right. Well, I just took first quarter, and I just took team total over. So if New Orleans wins, 140 to 125 or whatever, team total cashes anyway.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Bulls, Grizzlies. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, Bulls, Grizzlies. This is, Memphis, obviously. What's up with them, right? They're first in the Southwest. Playoffs, no problem, guaranteed, but they're losing game in and game out right now. If they weren't in first place, you'd think this team was tanking. And then you're like, well, no, they're in first place. Okay, well, they're not tanking. Something's seriously wrong with them then. And I was thinking that, I don't know if this is a bounce back spot for Memphis. It feels like it is, but I mean, Chicago, I had the Chicago team total over last night, which barely cashed, but cashed. They're on a back-to-back. They blasted the Spurs last night, and I would love to take the Chicago team total under here. I don't necessarily want to pull the trigger with Memphis minus all these points, but the line, I think, is telling you something, and I think the matchups probably support Memphis defensively. The Bulls are very, inside. They're very inside the arc oriented, and Memphis is strong defensively in that area as well. So my thought on this one was Chicago team total under. Both these teams have been under trending, of course, past 10 games or so, and I don't really like fading Chicago in general. I kind of want to bet on them or take their team total overs, which I did last night. But I'm thinking maybe Chicago team total under is a play, Jim, for all those reasons.
Wow, we have not got one positive thing said about the Grizzlies in the chat here. It's all Bulls. All right. Bulls. Troy Torrance says Bulls first quarter cash cow. Don play Bulls, baby, my play of the day. Luis is on Chicago +8. Sammy saying the Grizzlies are a joke. Can't wait to fade them in the playoffs. Troy saying I'll be on the Bulls first quarter and live bet them if they don't cover. Saturated said most of the Bulls rested in the fourth quarter. Vooch will eat with Adams out. Spenny's talking about Steven Adams, decent part of what Memphis does. Screens, gathers a ton of boards. They're missing him right now. Lee Davis saying Memphis quickly become very unlikable. I mean, we see that in the chat. Saturated said this is a Bulls +8, easy peasy. You don't want to talk bad about Memphis. Get a laser on your forehead here. Spenny says I want Tillman rebounds when they list them. There's our guy, Deacon Mike.
Deacon Mike.
Bad news, Deacon. Loshak's moving, man.
Yeah, who knows what the new set will be? Who knows what the new set will be? It might be horrific, but who knows? We'll see. Deacon Mike, shout out to you, Deacon Mike. Check out the look today. Dope. All right.
Pinnacle opened this up with Memphis -7.5, but didn't open it up till 7:38 in the morning. Now it's -8 and the juiced -8. Let's go over to Bet Online, see when they open this up. 2:09 a.m., but same deal, 7.5. But this got up to 9.
Yeah.
It got up to -9 40 minutes ago.
Jimmy the Bag, Memphis can't friggin' buy a win. They open up as a big favorite against a nice ATS team, and it gets bet up. What does that tell you?
It tells me smash spot. Let's take a look at the cash. It tells me that they're just going to smash the Bulls. The Grizzlies have 31% of the tickets and 87% of the cash. So I think it's all telling us that the Grizzlies smash here. 51% of the tickets, 86% of cash is on the over.
The money's coming in on the over, you said?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, we have so it's 51% of the tickets, but 86% of the cash. 51 and 86. And this total's gone up at Bet Online from 234 at 2 in the morning to 236 now. This is wild. A wild spot. Bulls on the second half back-to-back after winning their third straight game, 128-104 at home over San Antonio last night. I know Saturated talking about Andre Drummond, Dragic to Drummond combo. Drummond, season high, 21 points, 6 of 6 shooting. He was finished the game 9 of 9. Crazy. 15 boards. I mean, Vooch, 22 and 12, and he got to rest. Grizzlies coming off their third straight loss, 106-103 at home to the Raptors on Sunday night. Josh sat out the game. Steven Adams will miss his 8th straight game. And the Grizzlies scored less than their average point total in 7 of their past 9. when it came down to, now I know Jaw's going to be back, but when it came down to crunch time, they could not score. They did not look good. North End says Grizzly being a mess. Who the hell wants to lay 8 or 8.5 with them? The syndicates, it looks like, want to. Pete, the pros look like they want to. So what do you do with this? So here you have the information that this Grizzlies team that looks awful is getting hammered by the big bets. The total's getting bet, but the chat likes the Bulls. Rob Free says Bovada Bulls at 8.5. Says I'm very concerned, says Rob Free.
Yeah, I'm going to start just an official play, Jim. It might not be I'm going to take Bulls team total under. Right now, Heritage has 114. Pinnacle looks like it's 113.5. So even Will Hill is like at 113.5. Heritage still at 114. I'll make that official. I did bet it. Bulls team total under 114.
And what's the juice on that?
110.
I like what you've done with the information here. God, it's a lot of points. And everybody knowing that the Bulls are the first quarter cash cow, so you can't even cut the Grizzlies down. This is I guess I'm kind of stuck here. It certainly has to be but who wants the Grizzlies at this number? I guess I just got to do nothing. Deacon. I guess I don't know what to do. I like your look, though, Pete. I think that Bulls team total is interesting.
To Rikers or the big house at Sing Sing. He's got jokes, Jim. He's got jokes. We knew that, though. We knew that.
We do.
We knew that.
I like your look on the Bulls team total under here. The problem is that just that this line, the total is being bet up. And that's not to say that the Bulls are going to be a big part of that. Maybe it's just Sammy Comer says I may move on Memphis first quarter. Interesting. Andrew G says laying 8 with a team that's 2-8 last 10, missing their starting center. No, thank you. I'm gonna have to sit with this a little longer here. Sit with this a little longer here. It's almost college basketball time. We have 2 more games in the NBA. And
okay. Let's go, Jim. Minnesota, Denver, of course, is the second of a home and home. Minnesota absolutely blew out Denver in the first game, and Denver was sitting all the guys. They didn't even make the trip, and now Denver's the big favorite. They're at home. I was thinking just no-brainer situation. Obviously, Denver is the side you'd want to be looking at. I did already pull the trigger on Denver team total over at 122. I haven't checked where the lines have moved, but that's a bet I already made. Denver team total over 122. And I'd be leaning Denver minus all these points, Jim.
Yeah, market moving in their direction. Opened up a penny last night at 830, -7, now up to -9. Totals wise, this opened up at 235 and it's dropped. Yeah, it's dropped to 233 now. There was a big drop at 1043 this morning, 2 hours ago. Big drop here. Spenny Penny Bomb says Joker triple doubles at -110. Says the prop market is wild. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. 8,203 tickets in. 75% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on the Denver Nuggets. 75 and 93. So they're public and big bets are also coming in on them. 53% of tickets on the under. We don't have a cash flow. That's the only game we don't have a cash flow for. Both teams are 3-2 over the past 5, playing at a similar pace. Wolves 101.76 possessions a game, while the Nuggets 101. Timberwolves coming off their second win in 3 games, 128-98 at home over these Nuggets, as you talked about. No Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon, no KCP, and no Joker. Caldwell Pope has a sprained ankle. So, we're not sure what his story is, but we expect the others to be back. This whole well, I don't even want to really get into it. There's a lot of rumors going around with Aaron Gordon that I don't even really want to get into. Minnesota's been without one of its stars, Cat, for a long time. They're also without Kyle Anderson with back spasms, and Austin Rivers is going to miss the beginning of serve the beginning of his 3-game suspension for that altercation with Orlando on Friday night. A rested Nuggets squad. Is there an angle for you?
You're asking me, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. There you go. Sammy Comer likes the first quarter -3. Yeah, I just took the team total over, but I got 122. Now I'm seeing 121.5. We'll see if the total gets bet back up, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep an eye on it here. At
Or you could
point.
just really not overthink it and take Nuggets money line minus 392 currently at Pinnacle. Oh yeah,
And
parlay that. Oh yeah, now if you parlay them all together, the Tampa Bay Lightning, parlay that with some Denver money line.
yeah, and then the rumors about MPJ being in the car, where his the brother crashed and killed somebody, and that's the big story that's coming out, whether he was in the car or not. That's why he left for those 3 games. It's a crazy story that probably doesn't deserve us even speaking about it, but. Yeah, I mean, Equinimus says it's too easy picking the Nuggets. Francouz in goal for the Avalanche. Wow, that's a little unexpected. Francouz in goal for the Nuggets. Luis looking at the over 233.5. Yeah, I guess it's just a Nuggets smash spot, I guess. Is it?
I don't know. I'm going to pass on it. I think my team total over was a mistake. Didn't bet it huge, so I'll eat the loss, but I'm going to pass on it. Yeah, people. I mean, it's so many points. You know what I mean?
Frank White on the Nuggets first quarter says book it. Spenny Penny Bombs on D'Angelo Russell 8 or more assists at plus 170. Yeah, this spot in the Grizzlies spot I find tricky. Yeah, I guess we expect the Nuggets to smash back now that they're all healthy. I guess, and they're going to win by double digits.
You know, a lot of time in games like these, when the team knows they're losing, they're like, "All right, take it by 20. Take it by 20." That's what we should take it by 20 game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, if you incentivize them to keep it close, they could. But over the grind of an NBA season, it's a take it by 20 game.
Mike M says T-Wolves have covered 7 in a row at Ball Arena, winning last 4 outright as a dog versus Nuggets in the first half. Frank White says Nuggets come out pissed. Books aren't giving away free money. This line isn't an accident. Morgan Spooner on the Nuggets. And Sammy Comer says Denver first quarter is the play.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Denver first quarter is the play. Move Minnesota here, get them on the road, get them in the altitude. Sky Dragon says took Denver a couple months ago to be the number 1 seed plus 500. Love looking at these standings. Sky Dragon, every time I see you comment, I just thank you for the Rangers to make the playoffs gift you gave me. God,
I'm not going to make it official because it's not my capping, but I am going to tail Sammy on that one. I'm going to tail it first quarter. Yeah.
I think that makes a ton of sense, right?
Thank you, Sammy Comer.
I think it takes, but he says, by the way, I might bet mini. I think that makes a ton of sense that Denver snaps back here first quarter. Don Play saying Nuggets bench sucks, so we can take that pain away from it. And if you want, you can just take the race to 20.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, but the race to 20 won't. It'll be too juiced. Okay, yeah, I like it. I like it. Nuggets first quarter. I'm ready to join you guys. I think that makes a ton of sense. Nuggets first quarter -3, and I dig it. So let's move on to the final game on the board. Pete, Thunder, Lakers set a table, and then Daby Cab joining us for college basketball.
Okay, hold on one second. Yeah. Someone just knocked on my fucking door. All right. Nuggets, Lakers. I mean, OKC Lakers. Let me see. Hold on one second. Hey, actually, Jim, could you take this for a second? Someone just knocking at my door. Could you do that?
Worries. I got it. Yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma City Thunder 25-27, 9-16 on the road at the LA Lakers 25-29, 13-12 at home. We're at Crypto here. OKC 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 102.2 possessions a game. Lakers 2-3, playing at the pace of 100.7 possessions a game. Our Nut Flush Allen brought up a very interesting point, and the point was, we all assume that LeBron doesn't want to break the record tonight, right? That's what we all assume. And if that is the assumption, why would you not take his under points? That is the assumption. Also, Sports Insights, giving no line value to any team here, has given the Oklahoma City Thunder full line value. 21,960 tickets in, 60% of tickets, 75% of cash on the Thunder. Then you have 51% of tickets, 76% cash on the over. Take a look at what the line has done here. Lakers opening up -6.5, -100. They're now -6.5, -107. So a 7-cent move towards the Lakers. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 237 and it shot up to 239 and it's juiced at 239. Don Play says, yes, Jimmy, I'm on the under for LeBron. Butter in the house. I like it.
All right, I'm back. Just some fucking wacko. Fucking Christ, Jimmy the Bag. How is this my life?
So,
I need to get a fucking move to a fucking neighborhood where there's no fucking wackos. White collar wackos is fine. Not fucking wackos who knock on your door in the middle of a show. All right, where are we, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, this was the point here. So at this point, Sports Insights has given Thunder full line value. There's been a slight move, very slight move towards the Lakers. We're talking 7 cents at Pinnacle, so nothing much here. And what I discussed is something that Nutflush mentioned to me. He said, if we know that LeBron wants to break the record against Milwaukee with Kareem, his former team playing against Giannis with all the lights and all the action, then why wouldn't we take his point total under here against Oklahoma City? Now, that was something that he brought to my attention, and that's something that's backed here by Don Play. So Don Play is also on the under. Tone Miggins, though, he's on Shea, 30 over 30 points. James under 30.5. So there's Tone's on that same idea. James assist over 7.5 at plus. Wow, look at that. So that's the parlay. So Shea and AD for 30 or more. James under 30.5. James over 7.5 assists at plus 600. Frank says he likes the over. Frank White says I like the over or either team total over. Both should eat. OKC doesn't play a lick of defense. Rob Free says Lakers are 6-0 this year as home favorites. Is that all that? I guess we only played 25 games. Have they been dogs in 19 of their games? Lee Davis says OKC doesn't want the record to be broken against them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's more about look. LeBron can go for 40 when he wants to. It doesn't have to be within the rhythm of the game. And the idea is that he doesn't want to here. Leo said I thought it was hilarious. They're offering plus 135 straight for LeBron to break the record tonight. Tone Miggins like in Lakers first half -3.5. It feels like a triple-double spot for LeBron, right? Doesn't it feel like he's going to go for 25, 12, and 10 and not try to break the record here?
Yeah, I mean, now I'm like really pissed the fucking wacko came to my door because this was the game that I thought I had that I did bet on the overnight where I thought I had a nice edge. I thought OKC off the big loss with all the LeBron going for the record. I thought OKC first quarter might be a great bet. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
OKC in general is a young team with some life to them, kind of undervalued, kind of like the Bulls. I've generally been looking to bet on them in most spots and not looking to bet against them, a bet on or pass team, especially as a big underdog in a situation like this. And with all the hype around LeBron, going for the record, I thought OKC first quarter +2 and even on the money line would be a good bet. What do you think about that?
I do. And I also, they're offering me the under 32.5 points at plus 110. I mean, obviously he wants to break the record against Giannis and Kareem's old team. Doesn't that make sense? That's what he would want, Pete?
I have no idea what the fuck these guys are thinking. Who knows? Who knows what they want?
Thunder on the second half of back-to-back, as Pete mentioned, they suffered their third loss in 4 games, 141-114 at Golden State. Thunder shot 57.7% from the field in their win over Houston. They score 153 points, and then they looked awful in the following game, which happens so often. They're 3-5 since their 4-game winning streak. Lakers had their 2-game winning streak snapped on 131-126 loss at New Orleans on Saturday. So James is 36 points shy of breaking Kareem's record. And Davis, they're 3-3 with AD back. James went for 27 in that loss, and they're 1.5 games out of the 10th and final playoff play-in spot. 3.5 games out of 6th place to avoid the play-in. And AD says the sense of urgency is at an all-time high. Davis went for 34 and 14. I don't know. Are we trying to be too cute saying LeBron doesn't want to break it here? Let's take that under.
Not sure, Jim.
How about this? We have a special guest making an appearance with an official pick here on this very bet that we speak of. So please welcome to the show the host of the Slap Fest at the strip club on Friday night for $1,000 up for grabs. Your host of Slap Fest. Please welcome Jose One Hole Two Fingers. Okay.
Hello, gentlemen. Pete, it's nice to see you. You're definitely a Pubbalooza. I can't wait to see you Thursday because I'm providing half of the steaks, and I think you guys are going to provide like the other half of the steaks. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I do have a play in this game, and it is LeBron's under in points here. My book does not have it available yet, so I'll just take whatever number. I saw you guys were talking about 30 and a half. Yeah, I just don't think he gets it tonight because, one, LeBron's a showman little bitch, and he needs a grand stage to break these things. And what else? And you mentioned it. I mean, let's talk about the Bucks. And Pete, I'm going to mute you real quick because there's a bit of an echo. Oh, no, it's actually you, Jim. Wow, how weird. Look at that. Yeah, it's you. What's weird? But let's move on. It's gone now. Good. But he's a grand showman. He's a guy that wants the biggest stage. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Jim, when you were talking about it. You mentioned it briefly. Next game is against the Bucks, Kareem's old team, at the Lakers, TNT primetime, 9 p.m., whatever time that is, West Coast time, whatever the fuck. I think that's when he breaks it. Kareem will probably be in attendance, I assume. That whole stew just makes for a LeBron pot that and everyone will talk about it for the next fucking 2 days too, because there's an off day after his next game tomorrow. So I think it's an under spot here for LeBron. And then I point and laugh at him as I make fun of him for not breaking it against the Thunder.
You know, I'm wondering if this is just, I haven't bet a player prop in 2 years. Am I going to start with this? Skydragon says, what evidence is there LeBron doesn't want to break it tonight? How did the Lakers score without his offense? And, Philly Liverpool FC says tonight it's on TNT. Equinimus says it gets broken tonight.
Yeah, who's watching Thunder's Lakers, though, guys? Come on.
Yeah, I like it. I would like to move on it, but let's. Do you want the plus money that we have here at Bet365 under 32.5 at plus 110?
Yeah, sure. I thought it was under 30, so yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I think that the world is going to be on that. He's going to break it. It's going to be. I don't invoke this person's name often because I'm not a particular fan of this person, but it's going to be. Everyone's going to be like, oh, it's going to be like Kobe in his last game. He's just going to shoot a bunch. And he's going to try to break the record. I really don't think so. I think he kind of takes it a chill night because I think he really wants to have that 2-3 days of more conversation because LeBron is an egomaniac.
I wonder if it's his assists over that's going to be at the pop. God, I hate. I feel like I'm an addict going back to some drug I did for years. But the over 7.5 assists is, he can get whatever he wants. If he wants to break the record, he can break the record. If he wants a triple-double, he can focus on that and get a triple-double.
I feel that way about just betting the NBA in general. I hate betting the NBA. I can't stand it, but I do have 2 plays, and I guess I can shout this one out since I'm here already. I did bet the Grizzlies -8. Yeah, after everyone, literally the chat flooded in with Bulls, 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 and the line's moving the other way. Just come on. I'll be honest. I think we all got fucked on Harvard last time that this happened as well. We were all on Harvard. Shout out to Tone, Lone Wolf on Yale, money line. I took Harvard that day. I was like, you know what? Next time this happens, we'll just take the other side and see what happens. And especially with the line moving the other way, let's just take the Grizzlies. I took the -120 with the 8 personally, but I'd be okay with 8.5. I fucking can't stand the NBA though, so I won't be watching either of these games.
All right. The homeless Depeche Mode fan. Play of the day. Memphis Grizzlies -8.5. Shout out to Saturated for that joke. Hell yeah.
Wow. Wild stuff. Okay, so LBJ under 32.5. Say hey, play of the day. I guess OKC is the spot here. I guess. You know what? God, this game is just. I hate this stupid thing hanging over it. But the public are on the Thunder. The line's moving slightly. You have 60%, 76. Maybe I just stay off of this garbage. Peter, are you making anything official here?
You know, I did bet the Thunder first quarter, which might have been a mistake. But I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna force anything. You know, I think overall my plays in the NBA tonight are fine. I got 3 of them. I'm just gonna roll with those.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this basketball game.
The association I think it's easily the hardest sport to bet. It is so tough, especially when the league is actively trying to fuck you with player statuses. So fuck this game and fuck this league. But I'm still betting on it.
Well, there you have it. Let's review all NBA action here. I'm going to move on to Magic at home. There's a thought because the Knicks are so good in the first half. That's just a live bet that should be made. We have our big Super Bowl NFL pop up tonight. I don't know if Brooklyn Nets, I find very appealing early here with Book back. But I'm going to need to put a little bit more time. Loshak's on the Hawks, team total over 118 in the first quarter plus a half. I want the Hawks first quarter, first half. I hope I'm not getting too cute on that. But I want to stick with the sharp action there. Loshak's on the Bulls, team total under 114. I find that very interesting. I'm going to spend more time on it. Nuggets first quarter -3, a play that Sammy Culmer was hitting hard. Makes sense to me. I'm going to move on it as well. And then Jose's on LBJ under 32.5 points at plus 110. Say, hey, play of the day. So, Pete, for you, is that all that you're going to make official here?
Yeah, that's it for now, for sure.
All right. Well, let's move into college basketball. And you know, Jose bringing up the Friday show.
I have one more thing. I'm sorry. I apologize greatly. I apologize. I just got a text message from one of my friends as we're talking about this bet as well. I believe it was, let me double check to see if I could tell what book he's using. DraftKings. There's odds for what game LeBron will break the record in. The Bucks -205, Oklahoma City plus 130. So they're your interesting notes there as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's I guess I just need to sit with that a little more. It's hard to make a decision right now. But back to college basketball. Friday was my worst day of the year, and it hurt. It hurt. Started off with that Harvard spot that was just very wrong. When Niagara was it Quinnipiac or Canisius? I can't even remember now. I think it was Quinnipiac. I had Niagara -4. It was a fishy line, but it was 76-70 with 8 seconds left. Then my computer said game over. And then about 45 seconds later, it said 76-73. A 3-pointer had been scored with 0 seconds left. And I just, it bothered me so much. And, it's still been a really good season. It's just, it was a really, really tough night of losing. And I want to bounce back right here, right now with you, Pistol Pete Loshak, and our college basketball experts. So please welcome to the show from Dallas, Texas, one of the stars of Pubapalooza 2, baby. Please welcome Dabra Kadabra. Dabby, how are you?
What up, Jimmy? I'm excited, man. We'll bounce back real quick, man. Those kind of bullshit things happen, especially when you're watching the phone or the computer for the update. We've all been there, man. We're gonna bounce back right now.
Yeah, it was my worst day of the year, and it's not just like if I'm alone and I have a bad day and whatever. It's we always focus on the bankroll and stuff like that. It was just that I was so confident, and we had the show here. And Babano had a tough day on Friday too, and I just felt like I led my friends into a fucking trap, basically, and Pete talks about how tough it is putting out plays when people that you care about are putting their money on them, and to go.
Well, let me make you feel better.
Sure.
I was extremely busy Friday morning, so I didn't get to see all of the show, so I didn't know your exact bets. And I put people on Niagara and was on Niagara myself. So there. Hope you feel a little better now.
Did you see that 0 second?
Yeah, I saw the same thing. Yeah, it was sick.
Ugh, it was awful. So
I was live, Jimmy, and somebody put it in the chat. They said they were on the other side, and they were like, "Oh, a 3 to cover," so they were celebrating. And I was like, "Oh, good for you." Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
That 3 though, it said 76-70 final score. And then all of a sudden it said 76-73, and I, oh God. Okay. But let's shake it off and let's have a really, really big day here. We've picked out 10 games that we're going to showcase. Cab may want to add something at the end of it. Pete may want to add something at the end of it or talk about some other games. You guys in the chat may have questions here, but let's get to work here. I'm going to set a table, hand it over to Pistol, and Pistol's going to hand it over to you, Daby Cab. So let's get to work here. And let's bounce back. I need it bad. I've been enjoying betting college basketball so much, and it was just so horrific for me on Friday. So let's get to work. We start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The number 10 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles, 19-5, 11-2 in the Big East. At the number 21 ranked UConn Huskies, 18-6, 7-6 in the Big East. We're at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Take a look at the line history for this one, and we're going to use Bet Online. If we want to take some extra time on a game, we'll also look at Pinnacle, but let's just talk about the book that gets the line out first. This came out yesterday at 1:28 p.m. Connecticut -4.5 at -110, and it's bounced all over the place. This got up to -5. It got down to -3.5. It's now sitting at 4, so a half-point move towards Marquette. Totals-wise opened up at 152, and it's dropped all the way down to 147.5, a big drop. Move over to the cash flow in this one here. Here we go. We have a line value on Connecticut, 25% line value, 11,336 tickets in. 50% of the tickets are on Connecticut and 83% of the cash. Why then would the market be moving slightly in the opposite direction? 68% of the tickets and 63% of the cash is on the over, and yet that's dropped 4.5 points. Marquette comes in off its 5th straight win, 60-52 at home over Butler as 15-point favorites. So it was very underwhelming of victory. UConn comes in off its 2nd straight win, and I have God, what's wrong with me? I have no idea. I have 3 numbers here, so I have no idea what the score was. But at Georgetown is 13.5-point favorites. Start with you, Pistol Pete, Loshak, Marquette, UConn.
Yeah, this one, I've been a big fan of Shaka Smart going back ever since I've been talking about videos. So I in any situation, I don't really love betting against his teams in any situation. But this one feels like the Kansas game yesterday. At least UConn first half. Then if UConn's up at the half, I might put a halftime bet on Marquette, depending. But feels like the Kansas game yesterday and feels like at least first half UConn.
Dabra Kadabra, what do you think here, Marquette, UConn?
Yeah, this is a somewhat tough game, man. So you look at Marquette, we know how good their offense is. They're second and field goal percentage, 57.4% in college basketball. They're the top team in 2-point percentage at 60.4%. I mean, their offense is outstanding. Marquette on defense has been their weakness, though. They're 211th in field goal percentage, 269th in rebounding, so they don't get the boards too well. Here's the thing with me on this game. Like, I hear the line value on UConn, and it's interesting to hear the bets. I don't know how to get behind a UConn team who's only covered 3 out of their last 12 games against a Marquette team who's covered 9 out of their last 11. When you look at it like that, Marquette, they're covering spreads. UConn's not. UConn has been overvalued, to say the least. I mean, that's why they're 3 out of their last 12. So it's just hard for me to get behind UConn here in this spot. I'd only be on Marquette, and I'm not doing that either. I'm not going against those kind of bets.
Preston just bet Marquette to win the tourney last week. $25 to win 900. Ooh-wee. Morgan Spooner says Marquette's defense is so underrated. They can turn on. You see it with their turnover percentage. They just choose to outscore anyone. Brent Hunt says, take my advice. I've been betting college basketball past 10 years. Take Fridays off. I have had monster Fridays all year, and that's why I was so cocky. It was the most bets I've had on a Friday. But I hear you. And I hear what you're saying, Troy. Saying the reverse line, he's seeing more reverse line movement than anything I've ever seen. Look, we all have different routes to our goal of making money, and then it's all good. BJ says, I think UConn's favorite for a reason, but I will not bet it complete stay off. BJ says Marquette is a frisky basketball team. And the fun, and don't forget, as we talked about, we're going to have a big March Madness contest here at Pub Sports Radio. That will be really fun, and we'll get to enjoy it in San Antonio when we're all together, because that'll be the crux of the tournament there. The Elite Eight will be going on at the time. Let's move on to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And I did tell everybody the latest capper to book his flight to San Antonio, the Big Ragu. Going to be there from Thursday.
Yeah.
The Big Ragu. Let's move on to number 24 ranked Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 16-7, 8-4 in the Big Ten. At the number 18 Indiana Hoosiers, 6-7, 7-5 in the Big Ten. Now Rez Mob led us into this. He says he's got a big bet on the Rutgers under 64 first half in this game. Rutgers Indiana under 64 first half for our Rez Mob. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. None of us made moves on the first one. Let's see about this one popping off at 6:30. Indiana open. Oh, so that's Pinnacle, right? We want to only use Bet Online. Moving over to Bet Online. Don't forget, if you're opening up a new account at Bet Online and you type in Pub Sports, they will match you up to $1,000. 100% match up to $1,000. Indiana opening up at -5. They're now -4.5. A half-point move towards Rutgers. Totals wise is opened up at 135.5 and is now at 136. So not a lot of movement there. Take a look at the cash flow here. 8,559 tickets in. 40% of the tickets, 59% of the cash on the Hoosiers. 71% of the tickets, 75% of the cash on the under. So bigger bets coming in on the under. Toll's gone up. Bigger bets coming in on the Hoosiers, and this line's gone away from them. So not a lot of help here market-wise. Rutgers comes in off its second straight win, 61-55 at home over Michigan State. Saturday is 4.5-point favorites. And Indiana bounced back from their loss at Maryland last Tuesday by defeating the number one Purdue 79-74 at home. Saturday's a pick 'em. I mean, this just is the simplest bet. Now, I wish, Indiana wasn't maybe at home, but don't you fade a team after their season-defining victory, Pete? Take it away, Rutgers, Indiana.
You're talking about fading Indiana here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Purdue team was not season-defining. I just want to say that. I mean, it's cool. They were number one, but, man, that team was so far overrated. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry, guys.
No, except that they got embarrassed by Rutgers this season. So I think we throw that a little bit out the window. Fade them after the Rutgers game, sure. But fade them in this game, I don't know. They were pissed about that Rutgers loss. They got beat bad. And I might take Indiana first half here. I definitely agree with the first half under. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag them out game, at least to start. So I'd be leaning first half under for sure. And then maybe Indiana first half, full game. I mean, Rutgers has been doing great ATS, and similar to the UConn game, I don't feel comfortable fading them. But this is a big revenge spot for Indiana.
What do you think, Daby?
So the loss, I think that's a good thing to put in there, losing to Rutgers earlier. And Indiana was kind of in a spiral with injuries and things that were happening for just a small period. But they've been, 4-0 in their last 4 against the spread. They've covered their last 4, 6 out of their last 7 straight up with wins against Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin. And you look at Rutgers on the road, just 2-4 this season away from the rack. They go on the road. They've got losses to Michigan State. They've got losses to Iowa. And this Rutgers team, where they've been outstanding on defense, only allowing 58.4 points per game on offense, they struggle, only putting up 71 points per game. And this is a spot where I think at home, I think Indiana wants revenge. And I think this place is rocking tonight. I mean, they're just 7-5 in conference. You can't fucking let down right now. Indiana, you're 7-5 in conference. What, you're going to let down right now? Like, now's the time to press the gas, not fucking let down. Now is when you put the fucking pedal to the fucking metal. I like Indiana here. I don't like the reverse line movement. But I love the fact that I got some great cappers in the chat on it with me. Yeah, I got Indiana -4.
Indiana -4. Let's lock that in for you. There's our son Dizzle in the chat, our headliner at Pubapalooza, the Sunday night closing night ceremony, stand-up comedy show There's our headliner right there. So
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
You can put me on Rutgers first half team total under 31 minus 110. Current line at Pinnacle.
Rutgers.
Not bad, Daby, right?
No, I like it, and that's another thing too. Indiana's defense is outstanding. This isn't a good offense versus a bad defense type game. This is two well-rounded teams, and I think Indiana's the more fully rounded team altogether. So I like it.
Well, it also correlates with Res Mob's big bet on the under first half. Loshak Rutgers team total under. What was it again?
First half team total under 31.
First half team total under 31. What was the juice?
Minus 110. I also like the full game team total under as well. Not sure if I want to double up, but yeah.
Very, very, very interesting.
Actually, you know what? We can double up. You can throw on 66. Full game team total under is 66. I'll double up on it.
Wow. I'm interested. I'm very, very interested. We got good in the house. AOD ready to get to work as well. Philly Liverpool FC says Indiana is coming in with confidence. The under is I like the look. I like Rez's look as well. And there's the Reaver in the house. We all got to hang together. Reaver, you got to come back to Pubapalooza with us, man. The Reaver in the house. God, I can't wait for Pubapalooza. The Reaver, Son Dizzle, the Reaver, and I, we all we cashed that. Went to that Spurs game together, man. That was magic. Okay, BJ saying pass better spots. Let's line shop quickly for Daby Cab. Daby, did you tweet any of this out? Daby?
Hey, Daby. Is he there?
You're muted, my man.
Oh, shit.
You're back.
Yeah, I tweeted out this morning. Sorry. I tagged Pub Sports Radio. I'll make sure I tag you from now on, too.
Okay, so what did you get?
-4 at... Here, let me look at my bet really quick. Hold
Okay.
on. Make sure. Is it not available anymore? -110.
-4 at -110. No, not at that number. You can't get it. So good work. Good work. So let me know anytime that you've tweeted anything out just for while we're doing this live here. But I see where you guys are going here. And if I think that Indiana may struggle a little bit offensively after beating the number 1 ranked team in the country at home on Saturday at a pick'em. Obviously, it's a pick'em. You know, they pick them for a reason. But if I believe that a bit, then I think I need to move towards the under as well. Res Mob liking the under. Loshak on Rutgers, team total under. Cab on Indiana. So I'm going to get involved here with the under. The first half under with the Res Mob. I believe that's the best way for me to handle that. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, we head over to the American. Cincinnati Bearcats, 16-8, 7-4 in conference at Tulane Green Wave with the Devlin Fieldhouse in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's go into the line history here for this one. This one opened up with Tulane as a 1.5. Oh, that's at Pinnacle. My fault. Let's go over to Bet Online. Opened up with Tulane as a 1-point favorite. They're now 1.5-point favorites. The total opened up at 154.5. It's dropped to 153. When we go to the cash flow here for Tulane, Cincinnati, we have 3,006 tickets in. 40% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on Cincinnati. So bigger bets coming in on Cincinnati. 42% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the under. So the under being bet and Cincinnati being bet. There has been a 0.5-point move towards Tulane, but not a lot of movement there. Cincinnati comes in off their second straight win, 73-64 at home over UCF on Saturday as 6.5-point favorites. Tulane comes in off its third straight win, 90-89 at Memphis in overtime Saturday as 7-point dogs. So they were out-rebounded 48-28, and they managed to win. 3 of their last 4 games have gone to overtime. Let's start with Pistol Pete Loshak. Bearcats, Green Wave, take it away.
You know, this one looks like the line is dead on. Both teams obviously have been great ATS, and both teams have been teams that I've generally been looking to bet on and afraid to fade. And the only thing I have to say is maybe halftime line or live betting opportunities. But pregame, I don't have any edges that I'm seeing.
What about you, Daby Cab? You like a move here?
Yeah. So one thing that, you know, I don't know if we've talked about it on here, but one thing that everybody bets different. But one thing I'm good at is sticking with things that work. Cincinnati first half is something that has worked for me, especially as an underdog. If people are really liking the under too, I don't see how you don't lean towards Cincinnati for this. Cincinnati, they don't turn the ball over. And that's one thing I love about this team is they're 25th in the country in fewest turnovers, 57th in scoring offense. So they're good on offense, 111th in scoring defense, above average. When you look at Tulane, which I can't help but to say it, but Cook and Cross were outstanding in that last game. And that overtime win against Memphis, that was awesome. Good game, huge win. Those guys looked awesome. They're 11th in scoring. They run an extremely high-pace offense, 43 in field goal percentage, but they're only 202nd in three-point percentage and then 283rd defensively. So they're not a good defensive team. And part of that is due to the fact of how high they push the pace. But if we're looking at an under, I don't see how we don't also see value in Cincinnati, especially getting plus points in the first half. So I got plus 0.5 point on Cincinnati in the first half, and that's where I'm at.
So you got Cab, got first half plus 0.5, and what was the juice?
Minus 110, I think. Let me pull my bets up. Sorry. I always want to be exact on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, minus 110.
Cincy first half plus 0.5 at minus 110. This is a huge game here for Tulane. I don't see how these overtime games, these tough games, don't start catching up to them. And I'm interested in if I think sharp money's on Cincinnati and sharp money's on the under, and I don't necessarily want to bet both or mess with Tulane in that way, I'm going to take the Tulane team total under. Full game team total under 77. Are they going to get up to 80 in this spot?
So I should have already said this, and you probably did, Jimmy. I'm sorry for interrupting, but this is the second time these teams have met this year. Also, first time they met, Cincinnati won 87-77. It was Cincinnati got out early in that game. They had a 10-point lead and they kept it pretty much the whole game. Really, it was a closer game than what I just made it sound like across the board numbers wise. But Cincinnati did control it the whole time.
Noli knows in the house says, did someone say under? I like it. I like this. I'm going to challenge Tulane to get to 78 points tonight. I feel like the under's in play in this one as well. I don't know if it's a spot where I want to double up, but certainly going to move on. At least Tulane full game team total under. Cabs on Cincy first half plus 0.5 minus 110. Pete, does this interest you at all, or do we move on to ACC action?
Listening to what you all have been saying, I will probably tail the Cincy first half play, but no, I won't make it official.
Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. North Carolina Tar Heels 15-8, 7-5 in conference at Wake Forest Demon Deacons 15-9, 7-6 in conference. Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It just feels like the Tar Heels have played 2.5 weeks of good basketball over the last 2 years. It just happened to be in the tournament. It just feels like that right now watching this basketball team. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have North Carolina. Let's go over to Bet Online. Sorry, quickly. We have North Carolina opening up at a pick'em, and that's where they stand now. So there's been a 2-cent move to Wake Forest at Bet Online. Total wise, it's opened up at 153. It's now 153.5. So very little market movement in this one. Take a look at the cash flow here for this one. Wake Forest, North Carolina. They've given Wake Forest some slight line value here. 5,477 tickets in, 43% of the tickets, 60% of cash on Wake Forest. Then 31% of the tickets, 92% of the cash on the under. It's a lot of money on the under. And for whatever reason, market is not moving. North Carolina comes in off its second straight loss, 63-57 at Duke on Saturday is 2.5-point dogs. They shot 34.2% from the field, 25.9% from three. Sometimes I would think, this is a bounce back spot for a basketball team to shoot better, but I don't know if this is one of them. Wake Forest snapped their 4-game losing streak in an 81-64 win at Notre Dame as 3-point favorites. They shot 52.7% from the field and 46.7% from three. I think it's easy to say that they're not going to shoot like that again. Does that lead us to an under? Let's see what our man Pistol Pete thinks. Take it away. Tar Heels, Demon Deacons.
This is a judgment call on the character of UNC. I know Daby Cab has an opinion on that. I do not have necessarily an opinion, but my sense is here that UNC, probably full game and probably UNC first half is a good bet, unless they're a low character team, in which case that's a bad bet. I'm not exactly sure. I want to hear what Daby Cab has to say about that.
I love it. So, look, this UNC team probably let down a lot of people this year. Fans and not fans, betting people, whatever it may be. They didn't let me down because I paid attention. They got hot at the right time, Jimmy. You said it. They're not a bad basketball team. They're not one of the best teams in the country either. They're a good basketball team. They're a very solid team. and they can get hot again at the right time. I was on North Carolina against Duke in the first half, so I was able to cover with that, even though they didn't cover full game. North Carolina, where they've struggled is from three. So 30.8% from three. That's 327th in the nation. But they've got players who can shoot it, from Davis to Love. They've got players who can shoot. They just haven't. They run a higher tempo offense, 32nd adjusted offensive rating. They're only allowing 71.3 points per game, which is good for 44th adjusted defense efficiency. This Wake Forest team on the other side, great on offense, giving up a little bit more on defense, 72.7. And they finally got that win against Notre Dame, but so what? Like, you got to beat Notre Dame. That finally snapped it. North Carolina, in my opinion, is the better basketball team, and there's value just because of the fact that we're able to get the line so low. I mean, what were they, 11-point favorites in the first game? I know that Wake Forest barely covered it, but I think in their first game, North Carolina was 11-point favorites. When I got my bet this morning, I was able to get a +0.5 in the first half at -118. But if I can't get that, I'll take the money line here for official. It don't matter. Either way, I like it.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Well, just if you tweeted it out, Cab, you can get those numbers that you tweet out always. So remember that. Cool. Sorry, what were you going to say, Pete?
I was going to say you can make North Carolina first half an official play for me, -110.
Okay, so Loshak on UNC money
first half
money line -110, and Cab got that first half at +0.5 at -118. Huh?
Yeah, Cab, what do you think about a first half over as well? Because both these teams play kind of high tempo, right?
They do, yeah. Both of these teams are high tempo. I mean, yeah, I'd like the first half over also. Yeah.
Okay, you can add on for me, Jimmy the Bag. Let me just see. Where's the total for the first half? Not great. 72.5 -109. I'll make that official. First half over 72.5 -109.
First half over 72.5 -109. So I was thinking a little differently, but I do not expect Wake Forest to come out and shoot like they just did against Notre Dame back home in a high pressure situation against the Tar Heels. Big giant in-state rivalry. I mean, I would like to. I'd like to take a Wake Forest first half team total under.
What do you think about that, Daby Cab?
I like it because I'm on North Carolina first half. So,
right.
But I hate to go against what I just said with the over. I think this is a good spot for North Carolina. As far as the total goes.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It might open up in the second half, but it might be more intense in the first half. Pull my first half over, Jim. Okay, just UNC first half pick 'em. Okay.
Okay. First half, pick them at -110. Cab on first half +0.5 -118, and I'm taking Wake Forest first half team total under. I'd like to touch on this here quickly. Our guy Lucas Ryan says this is a smash and grab spot for Wake Forest. Says I don't see how they stop Appleby here. And what do you?
I mean, Appleby's one of the best players in the country. You can say that against. I mean, if you want to throw like matchups out there, who the fuck is going to stop Baycott from Wake Forest? I mean, if we're going to throw those out there, and North Carolina has some quick guards. They've got quick guard play. I'm not saying that they're as good as Appleby, but they've got people.
All right. Lucas Ryan going to be in San Antonio with us as well, which is going to be so much fun. All right. Wake Forest first half team total under for me. Loshak's on North Carolina first half -110. Cab on UNC.
Wait, you think that? So you think that what happened against Notre Dame was just? I mean, they're not going to shoot that well, but they're still a high-paced team, aren't they?
They're a high-paced team. They were on a 4-game losing streak. They go into Notre Dame and they, hit 46.7% from three.
Sure. Now
I think they come home in an in-state rivalry with the Tar Heels coming to town, and I think that there's some sweaty palms, man. I challenge them right now to shoot even close to that level. And do I expect North Carolina to shoot better? Sure, but they're not a very good shooting team. So,
I hear you. Excellent points, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, I'm not sure if I hope that they are, but I'm just going to challenge Wake Forest.
Yeah.
To shoot at that level.
Very good points, Jim. I agree with you.
Okay, I love it though. We all have action on the game, but Loshak and Cab correlated action there, and I guess mine sort of correlated with them as well. First half team to London. Let's move on over to the SEC. I've had a good read on the Aggies here, and I wanted to continue. Auburn Tigers 17-6, 7-3 in conference at Texas A&M, 16-7, 8-2 in conference. We're at Reed Arena, College Station, Texas. Start with the line history here for this spot. We have. Move over to Bet Online. We have Texas A&M opening up -3.5. They're now -3. So there's been very little movement here. There was movement at 4 p.m. yesterday, and then no more movement. This total opened up at 138. It's now at 138.5. When we go over to the cash flow here, we have 4,891 tickets in, 68% of tickets, 76% of cash on A&M, 85% of tickets, 91% of cash on the under. It's a lot of money on the under for it not to have moved down. This only climbed. This opened up yesterday at 1:28 p.m. at 1:38 at Bet Online. Within 1 minute, it was at 1:40. 11 minutes later, it was at 1:41. So I'm surprised that the tickets and the cash are on the under. Clearly, the first bets were by respected people, the total climbed. Auburn comes in off its third loss in 4 games, 46-43 at Tennessee on Saturday's 9.5-point dogs. They shot 23.6% from the field and 11.1% from 3. They're 4-4 on the road. They've been fine on the road this year, but that shooting was abysmal. Texas A&M comes in off its third win in 4 games, 82-57 at home over Georgia's 12.5-point favorites. A&M's 11-1 at home. This is a fascinating spot, and I love hearing Daby talk about these Texas teams. Pistol Pete Loshak, College Station, Texas, Tigers, Aggies.
You know, once again, Texas A&M. I mean, it's Auburn. Sorry, off of a huge game, right? A disappointing loss against Tennessee earlier in the year. Of course, Texas A&M blew them out. So, if Auburn's a high character team, they cover. If they're a low character team, or maybe even a mid-range character team, they wilt, and Texas A&M wins by 10. Which are they, Daby Cab?
Man, so to touch on that loss really quick, that was a foul at the end of the game. The Tennessee loss for Auburn should have been 3 free throws to tie the game for Auburn. Wasn't, is what it is, but that was a foul. I wasn't on the game. I had no bet. I don't give a shit about either of these teams. I'm just simply saying that was a fucking foul. They should have been shooting for the tie. Now, back to this game. That, like I said, tough road loss. Auburn's defense is outstanding, giving up 63.8 points per game. Whereas A&M on the other side is only giving up 66.2. So I get why it started so low, but seeing it creep up makes me just think that I guess A&M is the side here. A&M put up 82 points in their last game, though, Jimmy, making 50% of their field goals. And, we talked about not trying to get behind a team when they do something like that. A&M's not going to shoot 50% again. It's just not going to happen. But they have won 10 of their last 12 and 7 straight at home. Furthermore, to the point at home, A&M's putting up over 74 points at home, and the Tigers have lost 2 of their last 3 on the road, 3 of their last 4 in general. So you have 2 teams trending in opposite directions. This is a tough cap for me. I'm off this game.
I'm off it as well.
All right. Sounds like my son's pretty pissed off that you guys aren't making moves on it here. Okay. Staying off of this spot here. And I guess the market isn't really leaning us anywhere here, so I get it. 3-point favorites for A&M. I think it's the fact that people believe in Auburn's character, Pete, that this line is as small as it is. So I think it's a really strong point you made. All right, let's move on then. Let's move on back to ACC action. Number 22 ranked North Carolina State Wolfpack, 19-5, 9-4 in conference. Number 8 Virginia Cavaliers, 17-4, 9-3 in conference. John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville, Virginia. We're going to start with the line history here over at Bet Online for this one. NC State, Virginia. And here we go. 2 ranked teams battling. And Virginia, big favorites here, even though they've not been good to bettors this year against the spread. Over at Bet Online, this opened up at -7. It's exactly where it stands now. 11 minutes in, this got up to 7.5. A few hours later, got back to 6.5. Back to 7.5. Now it's just right where it started. Total wise, this opened up at 138.5 and has dropped to 135. So a 2.5-point drop on the total. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. They've given Virginia slight line value. 6,954 tickets in. 11% of the tickets on Virginia and 29% of the cash. You have 89% of the tickets on NC State at this number, and the line's not moving. That tells me that they're going to lose. But, I mean, obviously, so does the line 7, but will they cover? I guess the obvious question. 55% of the tickets, 66% of cash on the under. NC State comes in off its 4 straight wins, 72-64 at home over Georgia Tech Saturday's 15-point favorites. It's pretty underwhelming. Virginia had their 7-game winning streak snapped in a 74-68 win at Virginia Tech Saturday's 1.5-point dogs. This is screaming at me, Virginia first half. Screaming at me. And I'd like to hear your take before I bet it. Take it away, Pete. You're first, NC State, Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I in general, I have not had a good read on Virginia over the years. This game, it looks like, a game like this, NC State is a quality team. They've been all right in grinded out type game. So 7.5, I'd probably take that full game. But I agree with you. It screams Virginia first half. No play for me.
I'm close to moving on it. Daby, what do you think? NC State, Virginia.
Yeah, that's Virginia's the only way I'd look in this game. NC State, they've had one of the best offenses in the ACC this year, but even with that 17th ranked offense, they're 115th in field goal percentage, which I know is above average, but those numbers don't go together. And the reason is because this NC State team can just flat out go cold. And we've seen it happen. They're injured. Also, they've got a few key injuries. At the guard position still. And I think this is a perfect bounce back spot for Virginia here after losing to Virginia Tech, where they only shot 40% from the field. Just like we don't like getting behind a team that shoots outstanding and we're like, okay, they're not going to do that again. I also like sometimes getting behind a team that shoots like below average for them, because I think that they're going to get closer back to their average. I think that this could be a good bounce back spot for Virginia here. That's the only way I'd be able to look. More on it. Virginia's 10-1 at home this season. I know I'm going a little deeper into it than we usually do, but their toughest game on the road left is North Carolina. If we're talking about seedings, like for the tournament, they need to run the table at home. This is a big game for Virginia, actually. If we're talking about tournament seeds, so I think this is a good spot for them.
I'm moving on. Virginia first half. Andrew G. loving NC State full game, and I think we can both cash here. I loved everything you said about Virginia. I took Saturday with just horses only, but I was on Virginia Tech when they didn't cover their first meeting against Virginia. I would have been on them yesterday, but I needed a break and focus on the horses. But I like Virginia first half here. I think they come out, and it was very, NC State winning 4 in a row. Now they got a battle on their hands. So I'm excited about this one. I'm on Virginia first half. All right, we got 4 games left here. 4 games left. We got Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and then we close up with Nevada, New Mexico, Mountain West. So we're going to touch them all. Or not them all, but touch 4 different conferences here to finish off. 9 p.m. Eastern, number 17 ranked TCU, Horned Frogs, 17-6, 6-4, Big 12. At number 12 ranked Kansas State, Wildcats, 18-5, 6-4 in the Big 12. We're in Manhattan for this one. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. TCU, Kansas State. TCU comes in as 3.5-point dogs. That's up to 5. That's a pinnacle. So it's set up for me to say pinnacle first. I got to fix that. Same deal, though, at BetOnline, 3.5 to 5. So market moving towards Kansas State. This total opened up at 147. It's now up to 148.5. We go over to the cash flow here. 8,024 tickets in. 16% of the tickets, 29% of the cash on TCU. That's market moving towards Kansas State. And then we have 73% of tickets, 86% of the cash on the under. TCU comes off its second loss in 3 games on Saturday, 79-73. Oklahoma State is 4.5-point dogs. And Kansas State comes in off its second straight loss in 3rd and 4 games, 69-66 at home to Texas on Saturday as 1-point dogs. They turned the ball over 19 times in their defeat. This is a big bounce back opportunity for both squads, really, but especially Kansas State at home. Pete, what are your thoughts here?
First of all, shout out to the comment section, particularly Troy Torrance, who's really impressed me with some of the things that he is saying. This is an intense game. Both of these teams I kind of like. At 5, I would take TCU. I know that they have that big guy out, but they're just a scrappy team that just whoever's on the court they're dangerous to bet against as a dog. So I haven't bet it yet. I probably won't. Kansas State is also a team, though, that I don't want to bet against at all. But if you gave me your free play, no question about it, I'd throw it on TCU at +5.
BJ is all over Kansas State. Coin currency play of the day is Kansas State.
Wow. Okay.
Let's hear what Daby Cab has to say. Take it away.
So Miles Jr. being out, you touched on it, Pete. When I was on TCU, the game that he got hurt, and he got hurt 3 minutes into the game. Now I know it went into overtime, and yeah, they could have covered, but I literally was like, okay, well, fuck, this bet's dead, and I moved on with my day, and I didn't even watch the game. I watched other games, and I told myself, I said, I want nothing to do with TCU with him out. This team struggles from deep, 350th in the nation, shooting 29.1% from three, which is just fucking terrible. They're only averaging 5.2 threes per game, which is 344th. And when you take out Miles Jr., who facilitated this offense, they're just a stay away from team. That doesn't mean I'm betting Kansas State here, because I don't know what to expect from them right now either. They've only won 1 out of their last 4 also. Kansas State, they are 37th in the nation, putting up 113.8 per 100 possessions and great on defense. Both these teams are good on defense. I could see, if we think this is going to be a knock it out, I hate to just go towards the obvious, but I think the under might be in play here. This season, it's worth noting Kansas State is undefeated as favorites, and they're 11-4 last 15 ATS. So I just feel like Kansas State's stay away from, even if I'm leaning towards TCU, because I told myself I'm staying away from TCU. So it's like a principle for me, if anything.
This is a tough one. I guess I'm going to stay off here. Some bigger bets are coming in on TCU, although the public all over K-State, line moving towards K-State. I was planning on moving on K-State here. I guess Pete's trusting the character of TCU has slowed me down, but my whole plan was to move on Kansas State, and I guess to be in the same company as BJ and Coin and Mike M. The problem is the 5. I bet you guys got in at 4.5. Let's just see what I would be offered here. 5. Damn it. I feel like the fact they've lost 2 of their last 3. I mean, these are tough games that TCU's lost, but it's tough fighting, without their star, and I think it's starting to wear on them a little bit. But Noli knows leaning towards TCU. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it as a lean right now and think about it more here. As the day goes on. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Head over to the Big Ten. This is a spot I'm almost certain I'm going to make, but I would have bet it already if I was that confident. I do want to talk it out with you guys, but I want to back the Spartans at the Breslin Center here tonight against the Terps. Maryland 16-7, 7-5 in the Big Ten. Spartans 14-9, 6-6 in the Big Ten. It's a big game. We have Michigan State opening up -2.5, now at -3.5. That's at Pinnacle. Over at Bet Online, they opened up at -3. They're now at -3.5. This total opened up at 131, which is exactly where it stands right now. Cash-wise, for this one, we have line value on Michigan State. It's the same amount that they gave Virginia. But unlike Virginia has 11% of the tickets on them and 28% of cash. Michigan State has 77% of the tickets and 92% of the cash. If that much money with 7,923 tickets was in, wouldn't the market be moving a little more towards Michigan State, which they're not? 57% of tickets, 59% cash. That market is probably going to keep me off. Coin says, love Sparty here at the crib. Son Dizzle going to have a poached egg with my son. Okay, great. Maryland comes in off its 4th straight win, 81-46 at Minnesota's 9.5-point favorites. That's exactly where I want to fade a team. You beat up on a terrible basketball team. You shoot 52.4% from the field and 42.9% from 3. You only turn the ball over 5 times. That's great. You're 2-5 on the road. Now come into the Breslin Center and do that. A team off 2 straight losses. That's 9-2 at home. This screams Michigan State, but I guess it screams that everybody, why is the market not moving more in their direction? Pistol Pete, take it away. Terps, Spartans.
Yeah, you basically said it all, Jimmy the Bag. I'd love to take Michigan State. I wish I could get Pick'em at -110. Then I'd hit it. But at the current line, I want to take Michigan State. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but this one also has halftime or live betting written all over it. Full game. If you gave me a free bet right now, I guess I would take Michigan State. But it would definitely make me nervous, Jim. I want to go on the record saying that.
Troy saying Maryland doesn't cover his dogs. Coin, Love, and Sparty at the crib. BJ said I don't trust Michigan State or Maryland. Troy saying that he agrees, said Maryland the better unit, but Michigan State at the crib is a tough one. Could be a one-possession game. Noli knows looking at the under, and Equanimus also liking TCU plus the points. Let's see what Daby Cab has to say. Big Ten action of the year in East Lansing, Michigan.
Man, you did a great job breaking this one down when you handed it off to us. I mean, I agreed with everything you said on it. I wanted to get behind Michigan State here. I still want to get behind Michigan State. I haven't done it yet. 2-5 on the road. Maryland's just been terrible, but they have covered their last 6, so they're trending in the right direction as far as that goes. Even in their loss against Purdue, they covered the points in that on the road. This Michigan State, I think the chat's hitting it too. Who was in the chat? Troy? Maryland's probably the better team. Maryland is probably the better basketball team at this point in time right now, but going on the road at Michigan State, where this Michigan State team who's 6-6 in conference and needs to start getting some wins if they want to do anything this season, if they want to make the tournament, it's do or die. It's turn up time right now for a lot of these teams. And Walker, he's outstanding. A lot of fun to watch when he leads Michigan State. When he's on the team, where he goes, the team goes, I've noticed, because offense has been an issue for the Spartans. So yeah, I'm off. I like Michigan State.
Well, a couple things here. One, I'm going to move on Michigan State, but I'll just move on them first half. I expect Maryland to find this much, much more difficult. Now, it was at Minnesota, but still, I challenge Maryland to do it again. And then Noli knows on the under, Andrew G on the under, Johnny Gunn says under hammer spot. I'm going to believe that Maryland may be the better unit, but can't possibly shoot like they did in the last game. And I'm going to move on the under as well. So this is a double up spot for me. A little Big Ten action tonight. This will be right when our Super Bowl NFL Pub Hub will be going on. 2 more games in NCAA action here. And don't forget, Sharpie Bets. Sharpie has a show 3 p.m. today with Bobano and I for American League futures. Basically, it's not quite a future show. It's more of a grading the off season. But big show today at 3 p.m. In an hour and 32 minutes. 2 games left here in college basketball. 9 p.m. Eastern. Arkansas Razorbacks 16-7, 5-5 in the SEC at the Kentucky Wildcats 16-7, 7-3 in the conference. We're at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. A lot of talk now about Kentucky being maybe capable of putting together a big run come March. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have Kentucky opening up as 4-point favorites at Pinnacle. They're now 6-point favorites. It's a big move. 4 and 5.5 over at BetOnline. BetOnline is total opened up at 139.5, and it's now at 138. We get into the cash flow here. For this one, we have 5,400 tickets in, 63% of the tickets, 85% of the cash on Kentucky, market moving towards them. Then 38% of the tickets, but 71% of cash is on the over, and this total has dropped 1.5 points. That's interesting. So, I was looking at that. Sorry. So we have, is that right? Sorry, let me go back to this. 62% of the tickets are on the under and 29% of the cash. Just 29% of the cash in this market's dropped 1.5 points. That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about the situation and then watch our experts hammer it. Arkansas coming off its second straight win, 65-63 at South Carolina on Saturday is 12.5 point favorites. A very underwhelming performance. They're on the road here, 1-5 on the road. Kentucky comes in off its second straight win, 72-67 at home versus Florida on Saturday is 4.5 point favorites. They're 12-2 at home. Pistol Pete, SEC action, Razorbacks, Wildcats.
Yeah, I'd want to take Kentucky here. I wish I could get 4 or even like +5 or something like that. I wish, 5.5 is a little bit tough. Definitely, if Arkansas is up at the half, I'll be all over Kentucky second half, no question about it. Live betting on Kentucky if they get down is probably a good play. Yeah, I don't like the spot for Arkansas. I do like the spot for the Kentucky season-long turnaround that they've experienced, over the past month or so. So, like Kentucky here, and even at 5.5, I take it.
Yeah, it looks like Kentucky will now. Last year, I almost won our bracket contest, and I had Kentucky to win it all, and they lost immediately. I'm feeling like I'm going to go back to not necessarily to win it all, but for Kentucky to make a deep run. Talk to me, Daby Cab, Arkansas, Kentucky, and touch on your thoughts about Kentucky, over the next 6 weeks.
I got you. Yeah. So this is a Kentucky team that is turning the corner. And we've I don't know if it was on here, Jimmy, or if it was on the Net Profit show, but we talked about it a couple weeks ago, how this team was starting to turn the corner then, and we've seen it. Since the back-to-back losses against Alabama and South Carolina in early January, they've got some big wins. They've got wins over Tennessee, Texas A&M, Florida. They've just been on a roll. Kentucky right now averaging 75.2 points per game, which is good for 99th. Shooting 45.9% from the field. All their numbers are going up, though, is why I'm bringing these numbers up. Kentucky right now in their last 7 games overall is 6-1 against the spread. When you look at Arkansas, they're 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games on the road. This is an Arkansas team that's been injured. You give me this number at the beginning of the season, I slammed the fuck out of Arkansas. Right now, I think Kentucky wins and covers the spread. I think Kentucky is the more complete team. I think looking at Kentucky as futures is not a bad look at all, like you're talking about doing. I was on Kentucky first half on Saturday night. They cashed for me. It's a team that I'm definitely going to be back to the well at. I'm not on this game.
How do you feel about Kentucky offensively? Are they a defense-oriented team that's going to get dominant wins and still go under their team total? Because I think that maybe combining, just betting on Kentucky to have a nice game overall and taking the team total over 71.5 might be the way to go.
I think that Kentucky can get over that 70. As good as Arkansas's defense has been, I definitely think that they can get over that total for their team total. I like that, actually. I haven't even looked at that. I really like that bet a lot.
Yeah, you can make that official, Jimmy the Bag. 71.5, Kentucky, team total over -110, current line at Pinnacle.
Kentucky, team total over 71.5?
Yes.
And what was the juice?
-110.
-110. I'm moving on Kentucky full game here to look. I mean, it's clear Arkansas was thinking about this game here, but I see Kentucky starting to show out now here, especially in these important SEC games at home in Lexington. Let's move on to the final spot on the board. This was another spot I would have, if I hadn't had such a bad Friday, I'd already be on the Lobos here. Let's talk about this spot, and maybe it's good that I haven't, but we know how important home court is in some of these Mountain West games, especially the Utah teams and Nevada and New Mexico. I just feel like home court is a big deal. Let's go right into the line history here for this one. We'll start at Bet Online. New Mexico opening up -4, now -4.5. Total wise here, opening up at 150.5, now at 150. Look, Nevada's been very good against the spread. New Mexico's been pretty good. I can understand people making a lot of money on Nevada. BJ saying Lobo smash spot. I love seeing that, PJ. Let's take a look at this cash flow here. This is a nice late game for us, those of us who will be capping deep into the night. This is a really busy day for me, and I'll be capping late into the night here. But Nevada's got 29% of tickets and 42% of the cash. Makes me a little nervous. 81% of tickets, 77% cash on the over. Clearly, New Mexico public and not the big bets coming in. Coin says Rabenga for the Lobos from about 2.5 weeks ago. Nevada Wolfpack 18-6, 8-3 in the Mountain West. Lobos 19-4, 6-4 in conference. We're at the pit here in Albuquerque. Nevada comes in off its second straight win, third in 4 games on Friday, 72-52 at home over the Air Force Falcons as 13-point dogs. This was the game on Friday that threw me into a dark place. It was 47-46. I came so close to betting the first half. I ended up on the full game. It was 47-46. and the final score was 72-52. And just seeing the loss coming, it was very difficult to handle. And I got to change that. I can't let these losses hurt as much as they do. But God, I was a mess. New Mexico comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 84-73 at Utah State on Wednesday, 4.5-point dogs. We were on Utah State. I love backing Utah State at the house. And now I want to back the Lobos, but I'm a little nervous seeing the cash flow the way it is. So let's go around the horn here. Pistol Pete, Loshak, Wolfpack, Lobos.
Okay, quickly, one thing I do want to add on. Yeah, I don't love it to be a high-scoring game. Can I add on Arkansas team total under 66.5 minus 110 as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and if Kentucky wins in a blowout, those could both easily cash.
You have Kentucky team total over 71.5, and you are adding Arkansas team total under 67.5?
66.5 minus 110, current line Heritage.
You're locked in. That makes me more confident on my Kentucky spot as well. Tori Coker in the house. And very quickly from Dan Kelly, just so we don't miss it. So he posted at the top of the show, he said, I like all the unders with Minnesota, Denver. My favorite is first half Minnesota team totally got it at 58. So
wow.
He likes all the unders in Minnesota, Denver. That's helpful for me. That's going to help me attack that game because we're already on Denver first quarter. But why not a Minnesota first half team total under if Denver is going to play some serious basketball early? I think that's very helpful for me, Dan. Thank you for taking the time. All right, let's go around the horn here. Final game on the show today. We are talking Mountain West, Wolfpack, Lobos. Pistol Pete, floor is yours.
My first thoughts on this game were New Mexico minus the points and the under. And so I'm thinking about maybe a Nevada team total under as an official play.
Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. I wonder why there are big bets coming in on Nevada. I think it could be because Nevada is 15-7 or 15-7-1 against the spread this year. Maybe people are just making so much money on them, they're just going right back to the well. Daby Cab, take it away.
Yeah, I got it right here. 18-6, straight up 15-7-1 ATS, like you said. Wow. 8-3 in conference. Nevada, they're a well-rounded team. They're in the top 50 in offense and defensive efficiency, so you like to see that. But one of the things you touched on, New Mexico's been good against the number 2. They're 12-9-1 this year. Home court is such a big factor in these games here, especially in this conference. I think this is going to be an exciting game to watch, first off. But when you look at what New Mexico has done at home, they've won 16 of their last 17. They're 8-4 against the spread, their last 12 at home. And then on the other side, Nevada, they're winless in their last 3 games away from home, like straight up, like not against the spread, like straight up. They're winless in their last 3 away from home. I like New Mexico here. I think this is a good New Mexico spot. I think they're going to pick up the pace a little bit more than what Nevada can hang with.
And look, while you say that, Pete, look at Noli knows over.
He said over?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So maybe the New Mexico team total over. Yeah, I'm going to stay off this one. An interesting capping situation, though.
I'm going to back the Lobos here. I feel like I shouldn't, though. When I'm staying off these spots, it's being right to stay off. I can't. This may not, at this point, I can't. 29% of the tickets, 42% of cash on Nevada. I guess I can't. I really want the Lobos here at home, but I just can't be in a situation where I don't perceive, sharp back. But I can't explain it. I mean, I feel like I can't explain it. Nevada keeps making money for their backers, so why wouldn't they just keep betting them? I want to bet the Lobos. I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time on it. Anything you're making official here, Cab?
No, I like New Mexico also. This is one of my top leans off my card. I've got a couple, and I might add them. And if I do, I'll tweet it out. So, I mean, New Mexico's right there on the top off my card right now.
Okay, well, this is that was the last game on the board, but we do have some questions here from guys in the chat. So we'll go hit them quickly. Again, we have a baseball show in 1 hour and 21 minutes that I need. I just need to eat something before so that I'm not,
grilled cheese.
That sounds delicious. Okay, let's take a look at the next spot on the board that Lee Davis wanting to know Colorado State Air Force. I don't know if anyone's looked at this game. I'm just going to give a brief idea of the line history where the cash is. This opened up at Bet Online with Air Force had a pick 'em. They're now 1.5 point favorites. And the cash flow here for this one has 60% of the tickets on Air Force and only 12% of the cash. Wow. Big bets coming in on Colorado State. 53% of tickets, 76% cash on the under. Did you look at this game at all, Pete? I know we're just firing quick.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, no opinions on it.
Daby Cab?
So I didn't dive into this game, but what I can say about Colorado State, the only reason I wouldn't go with the money is I know that they've lost 5 straight games, 4 of their last 5 on the road. This Colorado State team just sucks on offense this year. They're not the same team that they were last year. And I think a lot of people keep thinking that it'll come back. Well, guys, we're getting close to conference tournaments. Like, they're not coming back. This offense sucks. I'm off this game.
Another question here, and then we got to move on here. Slow Jams has a question too. So let's just hit next up. Tomus 1B says, wondering any thoughts on Rhode Island, St. Louis. This one opened up with the Billikens at -11. Now they're -10.5. And cash wise here for this one, 22% of the tickets are on Rhode Island and 85% of the cash.
Oh, shit.
Wow. And then 27% tickets and 63% cash on the over. So sharp money clearly on Rhode Island and the over. Rhode Island, St. Louis. Pete, did you see this one at all?
No, not really. In general, I kind of like St. Louis, and I kind of lean to overs when they're playing. So, I maybe a Rhode Island team total over, but other than that, no. I got burned with St. Louis against VCU. So I'm holding off for now.
So did I, and Cab. Any thoughts there for Rhodey? Nice Nate saying Rhodey rolls here at Rhode Island, St. Louis.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm off this game. I've been burned by St. Louis a couple times this year. Also, I think St. Louis is a pretty good basketball team, and I think they definitely have the ability to win this game by more than 10.5 points. But I'm not getting into this one right now.
Then a question on the Ole Miss Georgia spot. It's interesting that you bring it up, and I meant to say it, so I'm kind of happy that you did. But this is the only spot on the entire board where one team is being given full line value, and that's Mississippi. 38% of tickets, 94% of cash. 70% tickets, 64% cash on the over. Mississippi opening up at +1.5. They're now still +1.5. So the market's not moving. And then total wise here, this total opening up 137.5, now at 135 and 139.5. What do you think here, Pete? Did you look at it all? Georgia at home, both teams have been bad against the spread this year.
Yeah, sure. I mean, do we know? I mean, Roberts, their guy, their leading scorer for Georgia, was out in their last game, and I was assuming that he was going to play in this one because it was a concussion, but I don't know for sure. So that makes a big difference. And I'm assuming that if you're saying that there's sharp money coming in on Ole Miss, it's probably because of that, because he's been announced in.
I would imagine that makes sense here. Cab, any thoughts here?
When you've read the markets on these last 2 games, it's just made me want to throw my thoughts out there. Ole Miss is in a fucking free fall. I mean, I can't get behind a team that's lost 11 out of its last 12 in a pick'em spot. I know it's not a pick'em, but what is it, 1.5 right now?
Yeah.
I can't get behind Ole Miss, and I don't particularly like going against full line value in the entire market. So I'm off.
Yeah, I get it, understandably. So this was the last game here of the day. We'll do it for our guys, Slow Jams Arsenal. This was my final cut of the 10 games that we talked about, and it was Toledo at Akron here. Akron opening up -2. That's exactly where they are right now at Penny. Over at Bet Online, they opened up at -1, and they're now at -2, but they got up to -3 over at Pinnacle. That was by 4:04 p.m. yesterday. This total at Bet Online opened up at 150. It's now at 148. This is our last game on the card today. 4,178 tickets in, 55% of tickets, 79% of cash on Toledo here on the road. 49% of tickets, 69% cash on the over. Any thought here, Pistol Pete, on this MAC game?
No, I mean, with the way Akron rolled Kent State, that's tough to bet against. But I'd have to look deeper into it to see if that's for real. But 2 great teams ATS wise. Akron coming off of an impressive ATS win over another top MAC team, so that's a tough one. Maybe over though.
Max Toledo over 18-9 to the over. Max Toledo over 150 are under plays. Can you hit me with that again, Mike? I'm I'm missing it. It's been a long one. Can you hit me with that again? I'm missing that. Cab, any thoughts on this MAC battle here before we put a bow on this?
Yeah, Toledo, their offense is just outstanding. 3-point, they rank 13th. They're all around rebounding. They do well. Adjusted efficiency, they do well. Toledo's offense is great. And Akron has been one of those teams. Akron, whatever, has been one of those teams I bet in the first half and I've had success on. But I think this is a Toledo spot here. As well-rounded as Akron's been, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the firepower that Toledo's going to bring to the court tonight.
There you have it. That is our college basketball breakdown here for Tuesday, February 7th on Loshak and the Bag. Great work, Daby Cab. Follow our man Daby Cab on Twitter at Daby Cab. Dabra Cadabra. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Get your fucking tickets to San Antonio. We got a lot of fucking bets to make, a lot of weed to smoke, and a lot of beer to drink. So
I have one quick question: is there going to be like one hotel where everyone's staying, or is the hotel free for all?
No, we're
Airbnbs these days, Pete.
There's a couple different. We're gonna have some options up for people here in the next day or two. We're close to finalizing some stuff with some hotels. So we do have some deals at a couple hotels. We're just trying to get better, bigger deals. So that's
because I just want to. If there's going to be one place where everyone's staying, I want to stay there.
Well, you want to be as close to the Southtown 101 as you can. That's our that's the head of the monster.
I hear you, Jim. I've already looked at it. There's a river. I don't know anything about San Antonio. There's a river front. A river walk.
There's a river.
There's a river walk. What's it called? River walk.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know about this?
Yeah, it's crazy. This could never happen in Vancouver because people will get pushed in.
I was looking at that. I know there's a lot of shit I don't know about. I was looking at San Antonio for the first time. I was like, Riverwalk, what the hell is that? That looks like a cool town, Jimmy the Bag.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we're going to get the warmth. And don't forget $1,000 Slap Fest as well, Pete, that Jose will be hosting. Ooh, jeez.
Okay.
It's wild. What a wild trip it's going to be. It's going to be so wild. I can't wait. And Dan Kelly says, check out the Alamo, people. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we got
the Alamo.
Yeah, man. It's just nonstop glory. Nonstop glory.
Who is it that peed on the Alamo was it Ozzy Osbourne? Was it Ozzy Osbourne? Some famous dude peed on the Alamo.
Oh,
am I imagining this?
I never heard it, but maybe.
Yeah. No, some famous.
Do you imagine this often?
No, I don't. No, when I'm like some famous dude peed on the Alamo, something like that, it's always true. I don't hallucinate crazy shit like that. Some famous dude peed on the Alamo.
We'll dive deeper into that. Into that. All right, we got to put a bow on this show. There is Sharpie in our chat. We have our first MLB futures look, basically grading the off season for the American League with Bobano and I. That's at 3 p.m. right here on Pub Sports Radio. So we got to, that's in an hour and 12 minutes. So Daby Cab, why don't we just put a bow on this whole show, all of us together right now without further ado. In NHL, we have, by the way, Razor Sharp Picks gave us this. This is the Razor's Horse of the Day here. I'm going to pop this in the chat. Swiss Horton saying Pete to San Antonio. So this is in the chat right there. Lightning first period minus half plus 120 for me. Pete has gone Lightning first period minus 180. Team total over 3.5 minus 140. And Lightning minus 1 at minus 164. I'm on the Oilers minus 1 at plus 100. Pete's on the over 6 at minus 156. Kraken, Islanders, we stayed off. I'm on the Predators money line. And I just hope they put their foot on the throat to the Golden Knights and just knock them out of the playoffs. And I just want these Golden Knight fans to know how much hurt there is when your team sucks. And then Anaheim first period, a spot that both the Peter Loshak and I are on. Then in NBA, I got to move on them now. I'm going to be on the Magic. I'm interested in Brooklyn early. Interested in Brooklyn first quarter. Pete's on the Hawks, Atlanta Hawks. Team total over 118. And the first quarter plus a half. I would like to move on the Hawks first quarter, first half. Pete's on the Bulls, team total under 114 and minus 110. I'm moving on the Nuggets, first quarter minus 3. It was a spot that Sammy Calmer really believes in. And then Dan gave us unders in this game, so he really likes Minnesota first half team total under. I'm going to roll with that as well. Then Jose is on LeBron James under 32.5 points at plus 110. That's a say hey play of the day. I'm trying so hard not to bet props, but I think that that he goes for assists tonight. Sets himself up for a big, wild experience against the Bucks in a marquee spot. But tonight's game's on D&D, and I feel like the problem that props scare me is because you get too cute with them. And then I fear betting this. I fear it. But that is NBA for you, and we've already discussed our NCAA action. Big Show flying in late on the 22nd. So that's the Wednesday, right? That would be the Wednesday. Mr. Gokster and myself flying, and Sonny flying on the 23rd. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for supporting. We have nothing without you. Rick J, Big Show, Bet That with Jay, Luis, my guy from Costa Rica. I'm trying to work on a trip back there. Ella doesn't remember enough of her first 2.5 years, 3 years of her life, so we're gonna go back there. Hopefully a year from now. That's what I hope. Slow Jams Arsenal, The Nuke Worker, Swiss Horton, Joey Harb, Fat Wally, Mike M, Top Butter, Richie Vegas, Noli Knows, Jay Peasy, Dan Kelly, Sharpie. Thank you guys so much for your support. Truly, we have nothing without you. Chief, Daby, excellent job today. Pistol Pete, could you please put a bow on this very show right here?
Yeah. It was Ozzy Osbourne who peed on the Alamo. You got to know that, Daby Cab. If you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it. So you got to know shit like that. Ozzy Osbourne peed on the Alamo.